Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me how to dance. What's happening? Rezlar!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money, big money!
money! Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it! And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. Arena of Solare has begun. We're going to be mostly talking about that today, as well as some node changes. We got 2 comment sections to catch up on since we skipped last week, but mostly going to be talking about Arena of Solare. But first, we got to thank our lovely patrons: Daniel Sandlin, Hawaiian Laggy Skills, Melt on Your Mouth, Minaria, and Wavesy. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show, as well as our Twitch subscribers on our individual Twitch channels, which you can find in the description down below. Nyashi, Frosty, hello.
What's up, man?
Hello. Arena of Solare. It's season 1, I guess you would call it, is out. They added some new maps, which we got to talk about. Unfortunately, Draconian nerfs have not come through yet. Was looking forward to that, but
they were still translating.
Still looking forward.
Still
to that.
Still translating, which also has implications for our tier list, which we got to figure out at some point. But yeah, so how are you guys? How are we feeling about Arena Solare? I'm gonna ask this as if we haven't been complaining about it for the last 30 minutes before we hit record.
Let's just say there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Now, Nyashi is the highest ranked currently. You're around 1500, you said, right?
No. I was on.
Oh, and then you
Friday.
descended into madness.
But then I had a 6-game loss streak yesterday. I got all the way up to 1474 when I was streaming yesterday, and I wanted to hit that 1500, and then I just could not get it. It just
got greedy.
I should have stopped.
Fucking greedy, man.
Been happy.
That's the funny thing too. I've noticed a common thing I see people say is like, "Damn, I should have stopped." Like.
Yeah, it's like gambling.
It's gambling. Yeah, it's literally gambling. So Nyashi is currently at 1328.
But you don't really get anything for stopping. You know what I mean? It's like
I know
you're inevitably gonna have to play more games.
I was already ahead, so that's like the argument. But this is what happened yesterday. Posted a screenshot there. This was at the end.
Yeah, that's brutal.
End.
I know that. I know the look of that screen all too well, my friend. Mine I have to scroll up and down to see the rest of them, though.
Unfortunately.
So Nyashi is currently ranked number 4 Meiwa, sitting at 1328.
I was number 1 on Friday.
Now he was number 1, but no more.
It's inting. If I would have stayed at where my high point was, I would have been at least number 2.
Now, Frosty, I'm assuming...
I wanted to say real quick, let's make this spicy. Nyashi, why are those 3 Meiwas above you way better than you at the game?
Oh, man, I wouldn't say that.
Dude, Coco's up there. Coco's good.
Yeah, Coco's good.
Coco's super consistent, too. He's always up there.
Quincy, I was running down in a few games, but he ended up with a better team comp towards the end of the day. Beat me in one, finally. But yeah.
Now, Frosty, what is your current ranking?
I am ranked 1,131, but that is a massive upgrade from what I was after Wednesday's games, where I ended the day at rank 2,191. So I'm making huge progress. We're working our way up.
So wait, what's your score currently, though?
Oops. What is
your
my
rating?
Score? Hold on. 1190. I'm just barely above starter rank, while with a losing record.
Wait, what score were you reading before?
The total rank, your placement.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 2,191 in line. Like there was 2,190 players that performed better than me on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Which is crazy, by the way, that number, because remember in the preseason, like the highest or the lowest we really saw was like 890 or 900 or something.
I will say day one I had a rough start too. But Friday I managed to sneak on by and get out of the 1200 bracket. And once you get to the once you get out of the 1200 bracket, there was a big difference in team quality.
I tend to disagree. Both times I got to 1300 is when my loss streak began.
Oh,
The quality of players for me just
well, no, that was Saturday, right? Saturday is yesterday, right?
No, the first day. The first day I started off, I actually started off really, really well. I was like, I was 14-7, and then, or 13-7, like to start. So I was like doing pretty well, and I was like 13, whatever, 100, and then I was like 14-9 when I was like, dude, I should probably stop. I think I was 13-7, lost 2, then I won 1. I was 14-9. I had just clapped Hunter HD, and then went to his stream and said, "Lol, idiot, you're trash," and then proceeded to go on a 10-game losing streak while he went on like a 9-game win streak. So we completely separated from there.
Who really won?
It was so sad too, because I hopped into a stream and I heard him say, "Dude, I fucking like we got to win this. Can't let fucking shit ass Frosty win." And then I fucking beat him, and I CC'd him so many times too. And I was like, "God damn, you're trash, Hunter." So sad I got ranked with someone as shit as you.
Damn.
And then just just lost. Yeah, Hunter is one of my he's one of my BFFs, so he knows I'm kidding. But dude, it was sad. I just went on a fucking huge loss streak from there, and it was like unrecoverable. And ever since, it's like now it's like one game I'll get teammates that want to help, and then the next game I get teammates where they are willing to separate so far away that they're not even on the map. So I just have to play like way, way, way better than I am capable of, I guess, to get out of this hole. So I don't know. I got a lot of work to do.
It's rough sometimes. These the teammates in the lower ranks are gonna be very very difficult to play around. I guess is the best way to put it.
So, just for transparency's sake, I am currently at 1149, 1 point below starting elo.
Oh, okay, dude.
I gotta be quiet, or else I'm gonna have a Frosty situation where like I'm
Yeah,
like
you're gonna get
have a
karma.
higher rank, and and then gonna have a down bad moment. You both are gonna pass me.
In my defense, though, for being below starting elo, I have been playing a lot of random bullshit. Because I'm just more interested in having fun than trying to climb, in all honesty.
Okay.
So I wish there was a way for me to see my class breakdown.
Yeah,
because
like
I would be
each
very
class.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I had to guess, I'd probably say I've played maybe. Okay, is there a way to see total games at least? There's not even a way to see total games. If I had to guess,
your total games are when you go to your main screen, it shows you history, top left. Like just go to Solare and it's literally the top left. Shows your record.
You're right. Okay, so I've played a total of quick maths 37 games.
Okay.
If I had to take a guess, I'd probably say 10 to 15 of those are Succession Sage, maybe like 5 to 10 Awakening Berserker, a couple Archers, maybe 5 to 10 Musas, and actually I've been trying to learn Warrior again. I'm trying to relearn how to play Warrior. So I've been having a hard time with that because I haven't played the class in like 4 years. So I've been absolutely inting my games. Apologies to anyone who's been on my team. So yeah, I've just been playing a whole bunch of random shit.
A weird time to pick Warrior back up, seeing as next week they're nerfed.
That's why he's ready for it not to be complained about.
Is that the reason?
The solar flare grab.
Not particularly. I don't know. I kind of felt like it. I was just looking at the classes that I have available, and I was like, "What do I feel like playing?" And then I was like, "Okay, we'll go fucking Warrior. Why not?" And then I inted. I think I did less damage than a Shy on the enemy team for my first game, so that was pretty embarrassing. But I've slowly been getting better. I've even gotten MVP a couple times now, so I've been getting better. It's just relearning the class basically. But yeah, so it's been a pretty fun time though. It's been a pretty fun time.
Yeah.
It's good. At least you're having fun. I mean, ultimately, like This is definitely a lot more fun, even though it's stressful moments with some of these teams and other aspects of the arena. But it's more fun than just running circles all day.
You know what it is for me? It's like I actually don't even really mind the ones that go like 5 games or even 4, but they're all like kind of close. For me, it's so deflating when 2 people on your team will die in the first 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And you are stuck in that 1v3 from get-go like over and over again, and it's just like, dude,
That is rough.
I know
yeah.
you're not supposed to blame your teammates, but when they're literally dead that fast, it's like it's so difficult. It's so difficult to come out of that. Because the game mode is designed to make like 1v3s fucking super super hard, like near impossible.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in trial gear, at least it would be potentially possible. But yeah, with this mode's way the gear's set up, it's
Yeah.
it's
That being said, I love where
it's
the gear
almost
setup is, to be honest. I think it's way more fun with the way the damage works in this game mode. I will say though, if there is like these random records to be held, one I might have the record for the highest percentage of getting the Kadri map. I'm pretty sure, because out of 60 games, I've had over 60 games. More than half of my games have been on Kadri. Which is crazy, because there are 5 maps in the fucking pool. So I don't understand how it's possible with that many games to get the Kadri map 30 times. And I hate, like, literally, like, my whole temperament changes the moment I see the desert when I start loading in. I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, you're not alone.
No.
I've had a couple times where people were like, "Dude, fuck this map." I had one guy who literally, I'm pretty sure he just kind of like gave up the second we loaded in, because he literally was just like, "I've never won on this map. Like I always just lose."
Yeah.
And then we got 3-0'd, and he was like, "Well, I'll try again next time." Like, he was so depressed. I felt so bad for him, dude.
Yeah, every time I end up on that map, everyone on my team is always saying the same thing. Fuck this map. Like, it doesn't matter what class they are. Even the classes that do benefit from it, like Sork or DK as examples, or even ninjas, they're like, yeah, fuck this map. Like, yeah, sure, I can benefit from it, but my teammates don't. So it's just all around, everyone dislikes that map.
I just want to point out something really funny to me right now.
Yeah.
Bloom in your chat, Frosty.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Have fun in practice mode and don't int people, lol." If only I could, Bloom. If only I could. Unfortunately, they close practice mode when the ranked is up, so I can only do one fucking thing.
Yeah, that's I understand. I kind of understand why they decided that, but like all it does is just funnel those players into the rank matches where they shouldn't be.
Yep.
So it's kind of like they have a solution, they implemented it, and then just didn't think about the consequences of how they implemented it.
Well, no, it's the Q thing, right? It's the we don't have enough players to support two
I
Qs
can't
at
do
the same
this
time.
discussion again. It's literally just fucking the most basic map. Have you
No, I
practice
understand
outside?
why they did it. I'm just saying I can't, like, I literally can't do practice mode in the evenings unless it's on those 2 days.
Bloom's trolling anyway, because it's like, dude, the ladder is not that important. That it's like, who cares if you're playing on a bad class or a class you suck at, you get put lower anyway. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
And also,
like, I am not in your elo, Bloom. You don't need to worry about it.
I also want to address this because I keep seeing this a lot. So Apollo Crew says people complain a lot about bad teams, and it can happen. You have new players or something. But how do people like Yellow, Divios, Armin consistently get top 100? Maybe it's a skill issue. Yes, Apollo. Not all of us. No, hold on. Yes, not all of us are the best player at our class, arguably in the entire world in the game. That is true. And most of us are never, ever going to be the best player in the world at a class. period. So yes, if you just named 3 of arguably the best players in the game, I would even argue across multiple regions, yes, they are able to get out of it and overcome the odds. Unfortunately for the rest of us that aren't Divios and Armin, we're not
that aren't the best players in the game.
Ever going to be able to be that good at the game that we can overcome bad teammates 5, 6, 7, 8 games in a row. It's just not possible. Like, some of us are forever. I resigned to, I will probably end the season at like 15 or 1600 points or whatever, because I'm just not, I don't have it in me to be that good, right? And that's okay. But the problem is like, you're not even moving up. It's very difficult early on when you're not Divios or Armin to move up to even where you probably are going to end up early on because of the RNG of teammates and maps and stuff. So yes, if you're not Divios and Armin, you're probably going to have a lot more hard time when you have bad teammates than if you're Divios or Armin. If those are your examples, it's like, give me a fucking break, dude. Like, yes, no one is Divios and Armin. We all are going to be lower skilled than Divios and Armin. So are the people on our team and the people we're against. But that doesn't change the fact that your teammates affect you. The whole game mode is team-based. I think it's so weird that people now are just like arguing like more and more this season. I've noticed it more and more this season that it's like, dude, your team doesn't matter. It's literally just you. If you're good, your team is irrelevant. It's like, no, the whole fucking game mode is based on your team, and comps are important, and how much they help. Like, literally just being in voice increases your win rate significantly. Yep. Like, just being in voice. So if you get 9 games in a row where no one is willing to go in voice with you, you're already at a deficit. So, like, yes, you can change your odds by being better, for sure. 100%. You should always look to yourself to improve, like 100%. But this notion that everyone should be Divios and Yellow and Armin and just climb out easily, it's just, no, we're not going to be. Do you realize how good Divios? I don't think you understand how good Divios is. And I'm gonna point this out. I'm a Divios fan. All right, just heads up. I'm straight up a Divios fanboy, and part of the reason why I like Divios so much is because he's been just pegged with this, oh, he's not in the AOA community, so he doesn't PvP, he's not actually good, he's gear carried, and yet for some reason, every time his gear is equalized, he fucking dominates everybody, and now on more than one class.
Yep.
So it's like, I like when people are like, fucking, oh, well, yeah, blah, 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 just has a bunch of gear. And then it's like he goes to the trial fucking striker version of the tournament and just fucking runs through everybody like it's nothing. And then now in AOS, he's just, I don't know, top 10. And now he's playing on Sage, which everyone tells me is literally the shittiest class in AOS in the whole game. And yep, 22-12. So yeah, not everyone is Divios, man. I'm sorry, Apollo. Well, no, a lot of us are not going to be as good as fucking Armin on Suck Ninja. It's just not going to happen for most of us. So yeah, we're not going to be able to overcome bad teammates regularly.
And also, like, some of those individuals being pointed out, like Armin or Divios, I mean, some classes could do a lot more than others. Realistically, like Ninja is a prime example of a class that can do a lot more than some other classes out there. Moose is another example. Striker's another example. I mean, there's just some situations where certain classes, they require a team to function well. Because of how the damage output is set up in this mode.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
some of those classes, like assassin classes, they usually perform much better in situations where they have higher gear. Or whatever the case is, but like, yeah, it's silly to go off that, but yeah, those individuals themselves are extremely skilled. Plus, with the kits that they have available to them, they're able to do some things that other classes and players can't.
Yeah, some classes are more comp independent. Yeah, like someone's saying, some classes are a lot more comp independent, and also you have Armin and Divios on them, so it's like,
yep,
yes, okay. So if I go into a game. The question is, how much better than the other players do I have to be to overcome teammates that are bad? Like, if you're Divios and you're queuing up and you have 5 blue players in your game, you're probably like so many times better than the other players that you can overcome like players not really helping you that much, right? Because the 3 people on the other team are having just such a miserable time trying to deal with Divios that it doesn't matter that his teammates are bad. They're just doing something. But it's like, let's say if I am on average, like, I don't know, we'll just give like a random percentage for sake of example. If I'm 30% better than every single player on the other team, like I am just like, I don't know, on average better than them at everything. Maybe I'm better at group play, I'm better at peeling, I'm better at protecting myself, I'm better at getting CCs, my combos are consistent, I don't make mistakes as much. How much worse, like, is that enough to overcome 2 teammates that die in the first 10 seconds? Probably not. Like, it just depends. There's so many factors, but this dismissing like the effect of teammates in a team game, I just find so disingenuous. It's like such an ego stroke thing. While also complaining about teammates exclusively but it's like they still do play a role. It's a fucking team game. It's the whole reason why we said if you're able to queue up in ranking with a pre-made team, how insanely one-sided so many of the matches would be, because you're going to end up with teammates that aren't coordinating. Because a huge part of it is literally just like, dude, I'm getting CCs, but I can't get someone to help me deal damage to a player on the ground, no matter what I say in the voice.
But at the same time, it's like those individuals that are using those specific, higher ranked players as examples of, oh, they can get out. How come you're not out? Why are you using someone else to prove your point? Why aren't you able to perform?
Oh, dude, I love to. If Divio's on a Shy, it's going to be 1200. I actually don't even believe that. Here's the thing people don't know about Divios actually likes Shy and plays Shy and played Shy in Siege a lot. I guarantee you he would probably be one of the highest ranked Shys on here if he actually played Shy. So he would definitely be up there. I don't know what his ranking would be at the end of the season, but he actually did play Shy for a long time. So I would not be surprised that he would be one of the highest ranked Shys. Wutara right now is 1234. All right. And yeah, it is unfortunate for that class. That's the other thing too. What happens when you get 2 Shys on your team, Very hard to overcome that. All right, that's it. Rant over. Yes, don't blame your teammates. Try to improve yourself all the time, but also recognize that it's a team game. And teammates are important because team comps matter. Maps matter, how people play, communication matters, and when all these things fall apart regularly, it can be very difficult if you're not Divios or Armin to overcome it. For at least in the beginning, for a long time. Like eventually, everyone's MMR probably settles, right? Because over time, you play enough games, it averages out. Similar to like enhancing, like you might have a bad luck streak or a good luck streak. Over time, if your enhancement rate is high, you're gonna conform to the average, but for stretches, it could be really hard.
Yeah, I think it's just important to remember that there's a lot of factors that go into wins and losses, and you can't discount literally any factor. So, I mean, I'm sure there's been teams. I'm sure if you go and ask Armin and Divios, hey, are there teams where the team is so bad that you literally just can't carry? They'll say absolutely.
Oh, dude, I already know that. That's funny because that was his Apollo's follow-up is that Armin said himself he gets bad teams, he doesn't blame anyone, but I listened to the podcast of the top 10 players where they went around, they did a little round table of people they don't like to play with because they can't win with them.
Was I on
individual
there?
people?
No. It was like they had to name people in the top 100.
Oh, okay, thank God.
That they'd prefer not to be paired up with.
Well, why would they do that? That's
it just says it for fun, because it was fun. No, it was fun. It was like lighthearted. They made it funny.
Okay.
It wasn't like toxic.
Okay.
Unless you were one of those players. No, just kidding. It wasn't that bad.
I don't know.
It wasn't that bad. It was like a fun. They did it in a way that was funny. Like I guess you need context for the way it was set up, but it wasn't. It was kind of funny. Like one of the ones was someone said yellow because every time yellow joins voice, one of the players, if not yellow, would disconnect and just give him an L. Because remember, he was having the voice join issue for a long time.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, they're just making fun of that situation.
Yeah, I guarantee you people, maybe they're not saying it out loud, but these people in their minds, in their heads, they're thinking, God damn it, dude, why the fuck didn't my teammate do shit that game?
Yeah.
We're human.
Yeah,
all
I
right.
haven't gotten to be that toxic yet for season 1. I'm trying to make sure that I'm, holding him back. But to be fair, a lot of the matches that have been lost have been just big team diffs, so not really anything you can do about it.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the Kadri elephant in the room.
The Kadri
The
elephant.
Kadri elephant in the room. All right, so Nyashi, let's just start with you. How do you feel about the brand new Kadri map? The desert map with the orb in the middle that blows up every certain amount of time, and then also gives you or knocks you back, deals damage, and then at the end of the game will hit you like 4 times and fucking destroy you.
It's it's probably some of the best mechanics built in the game. No, just fuck. It's the I know what they're trying to go for because the mansion map they gave the heal orbs and made it strictly just that, and this map is like it's no heal orbs and no blue like shield shutdown or block shutdown and it's just the red wave damage bullshit, red pulse, and it is just by far the most toxic fucking map they've ever made. Like Castle Ruins when that first came out, we thought that was bad, and it was with the wind buff. When the wind buff was on
The vacuum.
the vacuum,
Yeah.
and the damage that the red pulses do on that map is still really annoying. You could potentially like die from like 50% HP if you position poorly. But the Cadre map is just so egregious. Like nothing saves you unless you're an iframe class. Like you use super armor, you get knocked back anyways, and you take the damage. If you do foreguard, you get knocked back, take the damage. It don't fucking matter. So you literally have to focus a lot of your attention on the mechanic, or else you are literally going to probably take a lot of damage and or get caught afterwards and killed. Because if your opponent has an iframe class and they know how to abuse the mechanic, they're gonna like use their iframe like a block jump or a Sork iframe and just catch you after you get knocked back.
Mhm.
So it's pretty awful. It's kind of it just takes the whole point out of the fight. You're focusing more like we had a bunch of people on before. Who was the witch we had on before and preseason
Was
when we were
Belly?
talking about? Yeah, it was Belly. Um, he was saying he's like, I don't want to be dealing with PVE mechanics when I'm trying to PvP, and I agree with that. Like at first, I didn't really agree with him because I kind of like was leaning more towards like I think it adds a little bit of flair to it. It keeps things from being mundane and just the fights, but this kind of shit is just too much. It's just too much.
Resler?
Oh yeah, it's fucking awful. Get rid of it. I don't know why. I don't know how in the world they took the feedback on the ruins map that everyone hated the orbs, and they were like, all right, we're gonna make a brand new map, and it's gonna have orbs, but 5 million times worse than the orbs that they were complaining about. It's
Yeah.
genius. Like, wait, what? How did you come to that conclusion? Like, what? Yeah, it's awful. And honestly, even if you removed the gimmicks, I still don't think I would like it very much. I just don't think I like that map very much. There's too much
Yeah.
shit in the way. I can't fucking move.
The
It's
terrain is
really
annoying.
aggravating. Yeah, it's super aggravating. Um, I don't know. I kind of want to just say like bring back Arahaza, honestly. That map just feels like Arahaza but worse, like in every way. In the terrain, in the size cuz it's super small, in the mechanics, like I would rather have the 1 million AP fucking wind buff than the goddamn PvE take half your health every 2 seconds fucking mechanic, honestly.
Yeah, the terrain is not fun. I honestly feel like okay, so I'm with you guys in the whole. I don't understand how, with all the feedback, how negative everyone was on the gimmicks the preseason, that they actually would add a map with like the greatest gimmicks of all time. They're just like, listen, you guys think those gimmicks are bad? Like, that's how they took the feedback as like a challenge. Like, these gimmicks suck. It's like, no, they don't. Look what we could do.
Yeah.
We have gimmicks.
Yeah, it was out of spite.
Yeah,
It was
it's
out of
like-
spite.
It's
You
like,
think
stop
that shit's
complaining.
bad?
Yeah, gimmicks
Wait
could be
until I show
way
you them.
fucking worse than that if you want them to be. We could also, you think the damage orbs are terrible, but we could also make them knock you back whether you're in protection or not, and then fucking have them cover the entirety of the map or entire regions of the map. So the only way out is to go up 2 slight bits of stairs if you're not like a striker and ninja with double jump. You know?
The only thing they could have done to make it more egregious is have those red areas vacuum you into it first.
Dude, I don't even know why it has a warning. It's like a fucking 1 second warning.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. If the warning was longer, then like okay, but then the gimmick becomes kind of pointless in all honesty, so why even have it? But like the warning is like 1 second before it fucking pops. So unless you're like I don't know. Unless you're a Zerker with Lava Piercer or like a Musa who's already lined up to fiery angel, like go up the stairs, or like you said, a Musa or a Striker which can just hop up there really quickly, you're kind of like there's no shot in hell you're making it. Like, and of course, it's doubly frustrating because all the IRL spammy classes like Sork are like have no fucking problem with it. They're just iframing it every single time.
They can abuse it.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was in a match where there was another Mewa on the opponent's team, and I was chasing him because he was like basically almost dead. He had like 15% HP, and I was like hard chasing his ass, and the mechanic pops up on the outskirts, and we're on the outskirts with no way to get up, and he's just still running. He's just praying to God a miracle happens, and the fucking wave comes in, hits me, and he didn't get hit because his chase iframe just happened to be right that moment, and he gets away, and I get CC'd. I'm like, what is this stupid shit? Like, he just luck sacked his way into fucking getting away. It was the most ridiculous shit.
Yeah, the amount of times I've seen like player A have 2 people on the enemy team CC'd, and then the red orb goes off, and while those 2 people are CC'd, 2 of that player's teammates die to the red map. So it's like you're in this huge advantageous position, and then the map just pops up and kills your teammates before you could actually capitalize. Like, oh, well, never mind. We were winning, and then this happened.
Yeah.
It's just it's great. I hate that map, and I agree, Rez. Like, I wouldn't like hate the map, like miserably hate it if it had no gimmicks, but the terrain is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I almost feel like the only way to make that map kind of interesting would be
make
to
it
remove
wider.
the middle platform entirely. So it's just more of like a open space with the pillars on the edges, almost like a dome, like a Coliseum type style arena.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just that the gimmicks just make it 50 times worse. So it's, I don't know. It's so annoying. And
It makes it hard
and to
to
top it
follow
off,
some classes.
and to top it off, once you get through the first minute, if you've survived not blowing up to the fucking things, like now you're fighting for the flame buffs too. It's just like,
Yeah. Now you're playing Russian roulette with the fucking flame buffs, because if everyone jumps on it at the same time, someone's getting it and someone's getting blown up at the same time. It's crazy. Yeah, that map is atrocious. I do not like getting that map.
the other problem too, and a lot of people don't really think about this, especially if they're on like a more ratty class, but there are just a lot of classes that literally can't avoid it or have like way fewer means of avoiding a gigantic circle AoE that's going to knock you back through protection. Either classes that don't have really good mobility or classes that don't have on-demand iframes. Like, there's so many like that gimmick helps already strong classes more than it helps like classes that struggle more. So
That's
it's
like imagine if instead the gimmick would always CC you unless you were blocking with an SA block at that time.
right?
People would be like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly. Yeah, if it's the only way out of the gimmick is to have an SA block and then everyone else gets hit, would be fucking hilarious. Yeah, exactly. People would be annoyed by
People
that.
would
It's
be
the same
losing
thing.
their minds, dude.
Yeah, plus some classes just suck at getting upstairs. A small set of narrow stairs if you don't have like a double jump or a bunch of like short, quick, granular movement. So, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just I just don't understand how it's like I said this in the partner Discord too, and I tried to clarify too, because like everyone was complaining in there, and I tried to let like GMs and CMs know, like, dude, this isn't directed towards you guys. I know you guys relay the feedback, and right now it's like all anyone is doing is complaining, but like this map is so egregiously bad. It's like the developers, like, now this is more of like a you're not listening to actively defiant, like actively like, no, I am going to make you unhappy on purpose. Like I am intentionally going to take my player base's feedback and tell them to fuck off and put in this map that clearly nobody wants. I just don't, I think it's actually so crazy to me to watch a company actively like try to upset their player base. Like this is beyond a mistake at this point because of the feedback that we all saw and heard over the last like 3 months. It's crazy. It's actually, it's almost like arrogance, like just the most absurd arrogance I've ever seen, where it's like, yeah, we get that you guys don't like this, but we don't fucking care and we're going to make it worse. Sorry. It's so fucking crazy to me.
It just doesn't make sense. Like you said, it's basically just lack of caring whatsoever. I mean, like, and I bet you their justification is like, look, we added 2 other maps that were, relatively balanced in nature, like the Mansions map and the Jade Forest map. Those ones are actually pretty solid. So it's okay for us to put this one in. Like, I bet you that's their kind of thinking.
Dude, what's so funny about this is as we're having this discussion, I'm in a Kadri's map right now, and right now I'm watching a Hash on my team versus a Sork on the enemy team. And the Hash is literally struggling so hard. He just died to the event right now.
Yeah.
He's literally trying so hard to avoid being hit by this fucking mechanic. And this Sork is just saving your nightmare for every time it pops up. Just instantly just goes a nightmare and then pops up behind him when he inevitably gets hit by it and just claps his cheeks.
Oh no.
Like, it's so hilarious that I'm literally just watching this in real time, and he just lost the 1v1 because of the mechanic. He got a CC on the Sork and then was trying to finish it and just
that's
popped
the
and
worst.
killed him.
That's the worst when you finally get a CC on your opponent and then the mechanic comes up and interrupts your combo.
Yep. It's so much fun. He's having a blast, I feel like. He has to be having a blast, you know. If there was one word to describe the feelings that he's having right now, it would probably be fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is kind of interesting too, since the map CC is a knockback, so Sork can like hard capitalize on that.
Oh god,
Only
yeah.
0.7 of the CC
And
limit.
Knockbacks you can't V out of.
Dude, that map is great. There's so many times where I'm like, oh my god, we got map. Dude, it's funny like the first couple times, but it's not even satisfying when you see the map kill your enemies. You're just like, dude, that's fucking sad. Like, 2 people just instantly died on the enemy team because of the map. Like, literally, we didn't do shit.
Yeah, it's similar to when a tamer like dog gets a random CC, and I've literally heard tamers like apologize in BA when it happens because they just feel bad.
Yeah, like I think I recorded one, but the first time I seen the full force of the 20-second mechanic,
Yeah.
it was hilarious. I was basically in a 1v1 and I was losing the 1v1 versus some class. I can't remember what it was. But I managed to get up on the top of the platform and he was still on the bottom and the wave hit.
Oh no, the big
and
one.
he was 80% HP, and I was like 30%. I was safe. He died. I was like, "Oh my god!" And my entire team was just like, "What the fuck?" It was
Yeah.
the most egregious thing I've ever seen. I was like, "What is that?" Like, actually, I think I got it right here. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
here.
have it clipped?
Yeah, I have it clipped. Hold
Oh
on.
shit, I need this.
Uh, hold on. It was a Corsair. The Corsair was I managed to kill his ally, and was left really low. So here, let me show this.
Res Archie Hawk says you're cute.
Well, thank you.
All right, here, let me pop this out.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
So we're at 24 seconds. As you see, I'm like 20%.
Yep.
He's going there. I'm like, oh shit, the mechanic. I come up here, look at him. like what? What is that?
Oh my god, dude. That's so sad.
And that was
Dude.
I think I either
Play
1v2'd
one
or
more time. Play one
1v3'd
more
that.
time. Play one more time real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm in a losing situation here, but I managed to kill one of them, I think, due to the mechanic.
Did they both die to the wait, did he die to the
No,
mechanic before?
I think I kill him because I get ebuff up.
Okay. Alright.
So I'm in a situation where I'm not looking good, but
Oh, nice.
now it got good.
Yeah, now it got
So
good.
I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, flame buff, I got this. But Corsair, I need to fight more Corsairs. I haven't fought an awakened Corsair in God
Oh
knows how
yeah, he's
long.
still chunking you, even though you have the flame, you gotta
Yeah, it
run.
hurts. I'm like, fuck this.
Ah.
I'm out. And then I notice the mechanic's gonna come up in a second.
He's literally gonna win by HP on any other map right now.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? It just fucking
Just fucking oh my god,
Ugh,
dude. That is
man.
sad, dude. That is
Like,
so
how is that
fucking
fair?
crazy.
Like, I mean, yeah, I benefited from that win, but it's like, how is that fair? I should not have won that fight, probably.
That's so crazy.
Unless I caught him out right before the end
And the
damaged
crazy
him,
thing
so.
is too is like if he was in any SA, it didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. In any normal map, if he just holds SAs, basically he
And
won't die.
update, we just lost the game because we gave one round due to map mechanics. So fun times.
Yep.
It's just silly how they designed this map. It the longer the duration of the map goes, the less team focused the map becomes. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's less about the team and more about the mechanic, because the mechanic is literally just going to kill you. And that's what makes it unfun. It's no longer about the team. It's not about your performance as a team. It's about your ability to position properly.
Yeah. While also dealing with the team. And maybe
while
your
also
class
dealing
can't
with
really
the
do
team.
that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I also love too when if you the unluck of like you happen to have been CC'd and then they start comboing you and you V, and then right when you
Yeah.
come out of V, it explodes on you before you're able to move.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's hell yeah.
There's been a lot of close calls with that for me. I V'd and it barely went off before I came out of V, so that was close. But yeah, I'm waiting for the time where I'm like 10% HP and I get out of V and it pops on me. That'll just fucking tilt me.
I find it odd that like because when I first read the description of the map in the labs, I thought what it was going to be is like there would be the 2 flame buffs on the top later on in the round, but it'd be risky to go try to fight for them because the orb would just be exploding on the top platform, but the bottom would be like left untouched. Because if it was like that, I
would
think
make
people
more
would be,
sense.
yeah, I think people would be way less frustrated. Still, everyone would hate it and not want it, but At least
Yeah.
that way, it's like, dude, when it happens on the bottom and it covers that whole massive area,
It's
and
everywhere. You can't escape it.
it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Or it should be like
You know where the pillars are on the outside? Like,
trying
maybe
to
that
think.
small section, that strip, should be the section that's safe, maybe? I don't know. But they should just not have
No,
the mechanic in there.
it should just be. I mean, if they really desperately want to have that mechanic, they should just be interlaced safe and not safe zones. So you have like a section of danger and a section of not danger,
Like
so that
a
you could really quickly, using one small movement skill, get to a safe zone if you're paying attention to it,
like
right?
a slice of pie, like a
Yeah,
piece of,
exactly.
a
Exactly. So
pie
you
section.
split it up into 8 sections, 4 of them are safe, 4 of them are not safe, and they're interlaced. Safe, not safe, safe, not safe, safe, not safe, going around in a circle, right?
Could you imagine that if they had it on, like, speed dial with it? It's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, they just have fucking like legit boss mechanics for some reason in our 3v3 game mode. Yeah, dude, that sounds awesome.
Playing playing fucking basically some weird form of musical chairs with the fucking zone.
Yeah. That map is terrible. All right, let's move on to the next map, Mansions. What do you guys think of the Mansions map? That's the one that's all grassy and it has
I
a
love it.
lot of heal orbs around the map.
I love it actually. I think the heal orbs, some people might not like them, but it allows for actually some really good team play. Um, because like if you're in a you lose at a a teammate right away to some bullshit and it's 2v3, you and your team can actually like do damage trading and whatnot to them. Now, usually on a losing point of view, but then you move in position for heal orbs while you're fighting,
Mm.
and then they just aren't focused on that for some reason, the opponents, and they're just like, "We got the advantage, we could just force it," and they get greedy. You could just out damage them and win, utilizing the mechanic. It's a lot fairer because the opponent can obviously get to it before you, and get the heal orbs. But I think it's pretty fun. I actually did a 1v3 on that map, in practice mode, utilizing the mechanics, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah. Rez, your thoughts on the Mansion map?
I don't mind it as much as the Kadri one. I'm not in love with it, and I still think there is like a little bit of unfairness. I think if you're a class that doesn't have a ton of movement, you're probably not liking it very much. But that being
I
said,
see
I
that.
think that's way less classes than the classes that get heavily affected by the Kadri map. So I think that there's just less complaints about it. Also, I
Yeah.
think the heal orbs is probably like the most like reasonable mechanic.
Yeah. I just think, well, what do you guys both think of the terrain, like separate from the heal orbs?
I mean, I don't mind it. I think
Yeah.
it's fine. It's a little bit annoying sometimes, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Why do
it's
you not? Do you have a problem with it?
I don't. It's one of my favorite maps. I actually like the terrain. My only thing, I just think there's too many of the heal orbs. I don't mind the heal
yeah.
orbs in general. It's just like such a insane amount of them. I think it's a few too many, but I don't mind the heal orbs in general. And I actually think the map is super fun to play on.
Yeah. I'm with that sentiment, like, there is quite a few heal orbs there, and the terrain, I like it. I like it a lot. I did have a warrior, Oni-san, I had him in my game. He said he doesn't really like it because he has his graphic settings all the way down to fucking Lego mode. So, apparently,
Yeah,
that's kinda difficult to see things, but,
I
uh
can confirm it is still hard to see things when you have your settings on uh very 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 low.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
also
Opti mode, it seems fine for me, and medium obviously feels fine. I feel like if you have the graphics too high, you see too much detail, and like
Well, I still
it might
think
be
the
a little.
main thing isn't really the graphics. It's about the whatchamacallit, the effect opacity. I
Oh,
feel like is the main
yeah,
thing. Because I play with my effect opacity all the way down 30% so that I can fucking see things happening on my goddamn screen.
makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what mine's at actually.
Play with mine
Turn
at
that down.
80.
My effective capacity is at 100 actually.
Yeah, I don't know how you play like that, dog.
Well, with opti mode,
I
it's not
normally
so bad.
play. Yeah, I normally play on 100. The only time I don't like it is if there's a bunch of mages.
Yeah,
Awakened
mages they
in
just
particular.
they fucking clog up your entire screen with like AoE shit. Yeah, that's. But yeah, with opti mode on, the effective capacity isn't a big deal.
So the other thing too is like basically if my team has a suck Zerker, we're always going to get the heal orbs our side, or if the enemy team does, they're always gonna get the fucking heal orb. It's like
I tend to run and grab them too.
it makes fighting that class so hard because they're so fucking tanky. So it's like, dude, if
And
we
they run
don't
away.
secure this kill with all three of us right now on top of the Zerker, like he's going to full heal, and there's nothing we could do about it. So
Yeah.
we gotta like focus this fucking Zerker down if he gets CC'd, please.
Yeah, it's very true. That class is so hard to pin down with how tanky they can be sometimes.
And then Musa too, dude. Like Musa's like almost always, and then they kill the orb so quick too, while still kind of moving around.
Yeah, they use Searing Slam or Fire Crows to just lunge forward a little bit and still basically kill the orb. Or they just spin around and get them really easily while moving.
But yeah, that map, I actually have a lot of fun on that map. I just think there's too many of the heal orbs, like a few too many. But outside of that, I think the map's actually pretty fun. And I like the terrain.
I mean, basically getting only one at a time is going to really benefit you that much. Like, I think there's a significant reduction on getting additional heal orbs beyond a certain HP. I don't know if you noticed that.
Right. It's just like it's kind of like since you can't one combo, right? Most classes can't one combo. So
Yeah,
it's like they get up, get the heal orb, get up, get the heal orb, get up, get the heal orb, get up, get the heal orb. Like, and it's like, oh my god, are these things ever gonna run out?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it myself a few times too, where it's like whatever the classes I'm against is like not able to keep up, so I just keep getting the heal orbs.
Yeah.
Like this has to be annoying for them. All right, what about the Jade?
Jade Forest.
Yeah, Jade Starlight Forest.
I think it's pretty cool. It's a little more of an advantage for the team that starts in the top, I would say, because they have access to that hill. But it also depends on the team comp, I think, too. But if, for example, if they have mages and whatnot and they get to the center and you're not a team comp that can be like really aggressive, so you kind of have to play like defensively and play back, it kind of puts you in a bad position. So you kind of have to play going towards the ramp sides.
Well, you can wrap around if you're on the bottom. You can wrap around without even engaging them to their start position.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm saying, like from what I've noticed, like mages, mage team comps are able to really utilize that hill if they're on the top side, and they just move straight down to the hill and basically have you in the valley. So it's hard to explain. I think overall I like the map though. I don't really have a problem with it. There is a mechanic in there that is pretty bullshit, kind of like in the Oluns map. There's a little cave type thing. You can open up a door and go in there, and apparently you just don't take any damage. That needs to be removed.
Well, that's not a mechanic then. That's a bug.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that's.
I don't think that was an intended design.
So like the door is blocking the damage essentially, but you can move through it as a character.
It's weird. Etsu used it against me and my team. It was weird why he did it too, because it didn't really give him an advantage. I think he was kind of hoping that we'd be dumb and go in there, all three of us, and then he takes no damage, and then he deals damage to us and kills us all in there because he was by himself. But yeah, he opened up the door, went in there as a DK, holds his block with his back against this the cave wall, and we could not do any damage to him in there. One of my teammates luckily knew about the thing and said, "Back up! He's gonna try to outtrade us in there because we can't damage him." So we all backed up and waited for him to come out. But it's just weird. That kind of shit needs to be cleaned up and removed. But beyond that, the map itself is fine.
Yeah, that map is fun. I like that map a lot. Also, it gives me Star's End vibes. You know that like when you go up the stairs in Star's End, everyone fights on that hill.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the PvP we have there.
It's true.
Just not gonna ask my opinion on it. Okay, fine then.
No, go give your opinion. Why?
I think it's my favorite map.
Yeah, of all 5 maps.
Yep, I think it's my favorite map. Honestly, I know a lot of people really like Aloons, but Aloons is kind of boring, and also there's still the fucking staircase on the one side, which is irritating sometimes. I think Jade is my favorite map. I have yet to encounter that bug. Hopefully that bug gets fixed. But I think it's my favorite map, honestly. I know that there's a lot of feelings about the hill that the witches and wizards like to stand on, but I fought a lot of suck wizards, not witches, but suck wizards on that map, and we usually don't have too much of a problem getting to them. I think as opposed to something like the Kadri map where you have very specific entrances that you have to go up, right? There's a lot of ways to get to them up there. So I don't mind it as much, and I think it's important to have that terrain variety. I think it's more fun than just everything being flat everywhere.
Agreed. And there's actually some areas of the map too, like you mentioned the Frosty with like the stars and vibe with stairway on the depending on your perspective of where you're looking. But if you're on the bottom and you go to the left and you go up the way, you also have that little section that curves around to the top left. So you could V into there. It's pretty safe. That's a good spot. I like that. And also
I guess
like go ahead, Russ.
I get my question would be, what is you guys' favorite map if not that one? Is it Aloons?
I think mine is that one, honestly, just because like I want it to be Olin Valley, but the problem I have with Olin Valley is not that it's boring, it's that the amount of cheese mechanic, like the cheese things that you can do to abuse the fact that Pearl Abyss won't fix the map is like gotten out of hand. Although the problem with that is like I feel like eventually that's going to be the Jade map as well, just because it has so many different places you could go. Sure, eventually there's going to be more and more shit people figure out that's going to be like, well, they're just camping on that map waiting for a PA and or whatever it's going to be. I don't know. So who knows? But like if there were no ways to cheese the map like really badly, I probably Olin Valley would be my favorite, but for now, it's Jade until that one gets figured out and people make it annoying. I actually like Castle Ruins map as well, or Ruins of Soul, or whatever it is. I just hate the fucking orbs. Like, if the orbs weren't there, I think I'd like that map, because it feels a lot like AOS, but with or Arena of Arsha, with just kind of a little bit more variety. I do a little bit hate the climbing on the walls, but for the most part, it's not that big a deal. So I just hate the orbs on the map, but the actual layout is pretty cool.
Yeah, to what you were mentioning earlier, Rez, about having that terrain difference with that hill, like in the center, where mages. You mentioned you don't really have too many issues like dealing with them on that. That spot is kind of egregious for like my class because all those damn rocks are kind of like scattered throughout that spot. So it's fucking annoying trying to chase through there. But yeah, it's overall I like the map. Uh, I guess it's either the Olin's map or that one's my favorite. The Mantrams is pretty up there too, but the Heal Orbs do have their downsides sometimes. So it's between those three, but I'd say Jade is probably second, Olin's is first, and then Mansion's third.
If we had the Arihaza map with no crashes and no wind buff, and then you were to remove all of the gimmicks from every single map, then which map would be your favorite? Do you think it would
6
change?
maps, including Arihaza, and no gimmicks whatsoever.
And no gimmicks whatsoever. So if we had all 6 maps, no gimmicks, no crashes, what map would be your favorite?
Probably, I don't know. Probably still Jade. In all honesty, maybe Arahaza. Does gimmicks include taking out the stupid cheese shit in Aloons, or are we leaving that in because it's not a gimmick?
Well, in a perfect world, yeah, but I don't know. Who knows if they'll ever do it? I mean, they won't ever do any of this. So I guess let's say in this hypothetical fun world, yeah, there's
right.
It's like
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
The map based on like truly like you're actually just PvPing and trying to win a normal 3v3 and not cheese the map.
map is fun if there was no mechanics. I mean, the mechanics make it interesting too, but sometimes they're annoying.
Yeah, like the flame and the DP buff, I really don't mind on there that much because it's separated, and if you see one going for one, you can go for the other.
Or the damage orb is just mostly the annoying thing.
Yeah, the orbs are just fucking dumb.
Here's the mechanic that Etsu did.
You have a clip?
From yesterday. Yeah, I have it from my stream VOD.
Hold on one sec.
So you guys can get an idea of what the hell I'm talking about.
I think the ruins map is actually gimmicks done right. Aside from half of the gimmicks done right, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
The DP buff and the healing orbs being down below, so there's actually like risk to them.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really have no problem with. I still don't really like the shit up top, the wind buff and the fire buff and all that.
Yeah, I wish the fire buff felt like you had to commit to it a little bit. But at least, like, the thing is with the fire buff is it only lasts 20 seconds, and if they're going for it and you see it and you call it out, then you can go get the other one, right?
Yeah.
But I do like that the DP buff is in the water, and the heal orb is typically, like, on the edges.
Makes it dangerous to go for sometimes.
Yeah, the heal orb is, like, way out of the way, so you have to, like, kind of commit to it usually.
Right,
also, the heal orb spawns late as fuck, which is also good.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Ready to see this?
Yeah.
So we're already chasing Etsu, so it's just to show the spot. So Etsu goes up, and he opens up the gate and goes in here and puts his back to the wall. You literally can't damage him.
Etsu,
yeah. So and they knew that you couldn't damage, so they're just like, all right, fuck it. So they backed off and waited for him to come out in order to kill him. But yeah, that spot right there, it's weird. You have to open the gate first.
There's nothing to open there. I've been in that spot by accident. You just walk in. There's nothing to open.
The guy on my team said you have to open the gate, but I've never personally did it.
No. There's just like I've been in there by accident, or when I was like V'ing, I went into there to come out of my V because I thought I wouldn't be seen. But it just let me move right through it.
Yeah. That's you being a god.
He is, dude. He fucking, god damn it.
But then he sees he's in a losing situation, and then fucking he's gonna run for it. He just runs straight to the spot. He goes in there, and then you can't deal any damage to him. It's like what is the purpose of doing this? Except not to use some sort of exploit. Like, I don't know. It's just cringy.
Yeah, you're like not even hitting him, right? It like looks like it's not just that
you literally can't hit him. He takes 0 damage. It's just cringy. The only reason why he came out is because they backed off because they knew about the mechanics. So
yeah,
it's just cringy. It shouldn't be in there. I don't know. It just goes to show that players will do anything for LP. You know, doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah, I agree. Someone in the chat's mentioning like the thing with the health orbs on the mansion map is as cool as it is in that scenario that you said, Nashi, where it's like you get to go get some health back after a trade, but a lot of times when you're in that 1v3, they're the ones getting the health back over and over again.
Generally, yeah, which is why it's not that bad.
It's like you're sitting there like, dude, I'm trying to 1v3 these people, but they just full heal from the map, and there's no way to stop all of them from getting health.
Yeah, I mean, my class obviously has mobility to help out with that issue. So, like, I'm able to get to it for the most part generally before them. unless they have one of their individuals literally focusing, getting ahead of me, while two are chasing me. But yeah, there was one. Like I said, there was only one scenario where I was able to do a 1v3 because of that, and I think it's mostly because they didn't really know about the mechanic that well, and I was utilizing it. Clever use of mechanics, I guess.
I want to talk about the practice stuff, but before, since we talked about the ladder stuff before we started recording, I wanted to ask you guys if you are running into, does it feel any different than last season? Like in terms of comps, which classes you're seeing more often or less often? Because there were a few I know we didn't get all the balance changes yet, but between the two seasons, there were quite a few significant balance changes. Like we didn't get to see what Maywa was like yet. We didn't get to see Hash with their changes. We didn't get to see
definitely more Maywas. That's for goddamn sure. There's a lot more Maywas.
I don't personally haven't seen more Maywas, but the double Maywa comp hasn't been as bad as before. I've actually, like I mentioned earlier, I've been in 4 double Maywa comps. It was me and Ketsuru in one of them. Me and Akari, I think. I can't remember if Akari was on my team. I think he was. Me and was it Quincy? No, me and Banana or whatever. I can't remember his name. And we won all those, so that was actually a surprise. I was pretty happy to see that we were able to perform as double Maywa, but so that part changed. But as far as like classes that I'm seeing more of, I'm starting to see some more hashes.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of seems somewhat the same.
I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing more mooses, Maywas, hashes, sages. Honestly, DKs too. I feel like I'm seeing more of them, and I feel like I'm seeing less Drax and warriors. Bizarrely,
I am seeing less Drax. I would say the suck Drax turned into mooses, like we talked about earlier.
They went moose overnight. I'm kind of the same with Rezlar. I'm seeing a lot more now. I'm not up there fighting all the good Maywas, like the high end Maywas, but down here in my lowly ranks, I am seeing a shitload more Maywas because like last season I probably saw one Maywa like a week, and now I get one like every 2 or 3 games. And I'm seeing a lot more sages relative to what there were before, because before it was super rare you ever saw any sage. And now there's a sage probably every like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, and that's true.
Mooses, I mean, for me, I saw nothing but mooses and Drax last time. I still see a lot of mooses. Definitely less Drax, but the biggest spike is succession hashes are fucking everywhere. Like
there's a lot more hashes.
There is a suck hash on one of the teams in like almost all of my matches. And I'm getting a super high amount, because I played a lot of Awaken Hash last season. I'm getting a super high amount of players asking me how I'm enjoying Suck Hash. I'm like, I'm not on Suck Hash. We're in the 3rd match, and you don't know what spec I'm playing. This is rough. A lot of people are like, dude, Suck Hash pretty good, huh? And I'm like, it is, but I'm on Awakening, and it's also good, but it's not the class you think of it. It's funny, like no one recognizes the difference. But yeah, there are a lot more suck hashes, dude, and that I personally think Awaken Hash is uniquely equipped to deal with suck hash. But dude, I'm seeing a lot of other players struggle with suck hash, struggle to fight against suck hashes.
Dude, you got to be careful about those tornadoes, man. When they start grouping up, oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, so genuine question though, do you guys feel like you're seeing less warriors? Because I swear to God, I'm seeing way less warriors, and it's really bizarre, and I'm not quite understanding why. I guess maybe people have stopped playing it because the nerfs are coming, but they're not here yet, which is weird.
Well, yeah, but there's less Drax for the same reason, right?
Yeah,
definitely people are just like, I don't want to get used to it. I mean, there's definitely people that are like, I want to start working on another class that I know or think is going to be better for me.
Yeah.
Because sure. I feel like I used to have a warrior in almost every single game, at least one on one of the teams. And now I'm having a warrior like maybe every couple games. I don't know.
But I was going to say that all haven't been said. No, I'm seeing literally so many fucking warriors in all of my games. So I don't know.
Really?
I'm getting a lot of warriors.
Dodging them then.
Yeah, I'm getting a shitload of warriors. I actually had a warrior on my team that told me like I better put Suck Warrior high on the tier list. He was playing Suck Warrior, and then he proceeded to die instantly in the next 2 matches.
I was about to say, dude, I've had a couple Suck Warriors in my game. Useless motherfuckers, bro.
I don't think they're useless. I just think they have to be good. Because I remember like last season, Goldstein was playing on Suck Warrior a lot and doing pretty well. Like I think you can make it work if you're good. I don't think it's a bad class at all. But I just think like I just don't see that. I've only seen one. I've only seen this one guy on Suck Warrior, but I still see a lot of Awakened Warriors in my games.
So as far as the match history goes, I think it's 20 games or something like that.
Yeah, they need to separate that, by the way. The practice and the ladder shouldn't be in the same
Yeah.
history. They shouldn't be bumping each other off.
Well, luckily mine's just all match history, but I'm seeing like Warriors in 30% of my games, so that's probably a lot less than preseason. I feel like before it was like 60% of the time, but there's
Yeah.
at least one Warrior in 30% of the games. I think I've had only one match where I had double Warrior on my team, and somehow we still lost that. My Warriors did less than 10k damage each.
I've been seeing less Suck Novas. I know at the high end there's still the same Suck Novas are all still there, but I feel like the lower end average players, there's a few in my games anyway. I've only played 60 games, but
I never felt like I was running into too many of them in the preseason, in all honesty.
I was running. They were in so many of my games, dude.
I'm not sure how many I'm running into, but the thing is, there's such a hard counter to me that it's just so noticeable. I take note of it. Like I don't know how many I'm running into, but everyone gives me PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. My last 20 games, I had 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. It's the classes are definitely different. I'm curious. It's probably going to change even more. There's definitely a few more Kunos too than there were last season.
I did notice a couple more Kunos than what I would typically run into. Mostly Opie though. I keep running into Opie and he keeps losing.
Poor Luna, dude. Dude, it's so funny too. I always call it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it anymore starting Tuesday, but every time I'm against Luna and he catches me, I'm like, he's like, I live here. I just say it on purpose, just because I live here, I live here, I live here. Don't help, don't help. I live here. All right, yep, he spun. I'm good.
Oh no.
Luna said, "You're so lucky I'm here." Yeah, poor Luna, dude. But it's all right. Maybe it'll be fucking cracked in on Tuesday. I do think the class is good. I just think the damage makes it very difficult to carry. Yeah, their CCs are fantastic. Their mobility is good. Their protection is good. They just have a lot. They have a lot in the kit. It's just like once you get the CC, they have a hard time like doing significant enough damage to like hugely impact the game.
Yeah. Like that. I always forget the name of Kuno's abilities. When he throws the disc in front of him and it goes through your 400 KDs you. Delighted. Yeah, that skill is so good. It's insane.
It's a fantastic skill.
But yeah, that's pretty much the most egregious thing that you have to deal with Kuno. And that's kind of how I feel about it when I'm fighting against them. You dodge the delighted if you can, and you just keep playing the matchup, and that's really how it goes. Like I don't like Kuno's a bad fight for me to take. Like for example, if we broke off into a 1v1, I'd probably stray away from actually fighting that out because it's just Kunos and ninjas tend to have a really good time versus bladers these days. So it's not really a good matchup for me to take in a 1v1, like to pull one off to the side. But in a team fight, they're not that it's not that threatening beyond the delighted.
Yeah. I don't know. I always like there's a few.
I think I messaged Luna the other day too. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. He's like, dude, my teammates.
Yeah. Just get good, Luna. Pussy. Don't blame your team. All right. Teammates don't have any impact on whether you're winning or losing. It's your fault only.
That's what people are saying.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's I actually think Kuno is pretty good though, and Suck Kuno also. It's like it's weird because they have the stamina issues. Like you could burn yourself out pretty easily. The really good Kunos are fairly good at managing that. I just don't know if like once you end up against Armins and Rat Rose and Wizbelly and Ronald J, like the good players, I think it's like it just gets hard up there on Suck Kuno. And I actually think coming Tuesday you're probably better off on Awaken Kuno.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But Sages, I do want to, dude. I've seen a lot. So Awaken Sage only got a couple of changes since before, but and they're getting a few more. But I've definitely seen a lot more Awaken Sages, and way more Suck. I literally never saw Suck Sages. I probably saw one Suck Sage the entire last season, and I've seen like 10 or 15 of them this season.
Yeah, I would say there's definitely at least 3 times the amount of Suck Sages as before. So instead of 1, there's 3 now. So that's really fun to see.
And they're not really that easy to CC from my experience.
No, they're fucking hard as hell to CC, man. The good
until
ones,
there's a berserker, and then it's depressing.
That is true. That's what Divio said too. I was asking him, I was like, dude, what's like the single what comps do you hate fighting against? He said Zerker. Just Zerker. Suck Zerker.
Yeah,
If there's a Suck Zerker,
just
it's a fucking
Suck
nightmare.
Zerker, dude.
Fuck
It's
Suck
so
Zerker.
bad.
Yeah, it's
Is it just because they can multi-grab? They have multiple chances to grab you?
It's just perma SA into grab. It's just really depressing.
Perma SA, perma keep up with the Sage. Like they could just stay on you forever.
You can't run away from them. Warriors are also really difficult, but not nearly as bad as Zerkers are. But yeah, it's just that ability. It's just the grab threat, and you literally can't fucking separate from them because they just have so much movement. It's really depressing.
Yeah. So in those matches, it just I know no one likes to hear this in team games, but you're relying a lot on your team to help you deal with the Suck Zerker. Otherwise, you're gonna have a legit problem.
But wait, I mean, you don't need teammates to perform, you know.
So you get grabbed, and then you V, and then you get grabbed again, and then you die, only getting off a couple damage skills, and then your team starts raging about how bad Suck Sage is, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I fought against a couple that were actually really hard to deal with, and their team played around them pretty well. But it's just like this, dude. I didn't think it was gonna make a difference, Rez, but that little fake streak is actually fucks me off, dude. It throws me off so badly.
I always go in the opposite direction. It drives me nuts.
You're like forced to watch the map when you're fighting a Sage, but with 2 other players also attacking you, it's so difficult to just focus on the map.
Yeah, you're just gonna get yourself caught and killed if you do that.
For sure, and it definitely helps the main counter to Suck Sage, which is the grab threat, right? It really helps with the grab threat. So yeah, it's pulling a lot more weight than I gave it credit for when I first read the changes. And specifically 3v3s. I think in 1v1 probably still not doing much. But in Arena Solare it's pulling a lot of weight.
Yeah, I still think that forward guard on Shift LMB is going to be huge for that class. I really do. Being able, because that skill does decent damage. Also, just randomly the damage buff on Fist, on Ator's Fist, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
if
skill already does
damage,
really good damage.
Yeah, that skill hits pretty hard. So now it's getting some crit, but having that forward guard is going to be kind of nice, man. To at least be able to either trade or you like face towards an enemy and have an additional protected damage ability while someone's trying to peel. Make a big difference. Norelio's been playing Norelio's in chat. He's been playing mostly Suck Sage, right? Exclusively Suck Sage this season. He's up there with I think he's up there with.
He's a reformed class abuser.
Yeah, look, Divios, Dalen, and Norelio. Look at Dalen up there holding his own, man. God damn. Who would have thought the PvE monsters just popping off on Suck Sage in PvP? All right, so those are the classes, and Rez, what class are you gonna end up playing like by the end of it? Like if you were to full focus on one, or are you just never going to?
If I was really hard focused on climbing and I was only going to play the one class to do the climbing, I'd probably play Zerker.
Suck or wake?
Awakening, probably.
Okay.
I feel like Suck is much more difficult to deal with still.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic. I feel like it's easier to climb on Suck, but if you're a really, really good Awakened Zerker, I don't know. They're both just really strong in my opinion. I think they're both really good in different
I think
things.
it's just because my specific matchup versus an Awakened Zerker is better than against Suck.
Dude, the amount of times, too. It's like that. The Suck Zerker 100%. The amount of times where it's like,
Yeah, that's good.
it just instantly changes what's going on in the fight, where it's like, it's like, all right, we got this guy. This guy's getting low. Up, Zerker just ulted, and we're all fucked. We V'd. I V'd. You V'd.
Everyone has to be instantly.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I V'd, you V'd, we V'd. All right, we all V'd. Never mind, fuck it.
I definitely think that Suck Zerker is stronger in Arena Solare. But I don't know. I just like Awakening more, honestly. It's really all it comes down to.
Zerker in general is just a chaos bot. That's what it's there
Although
for. It's just
this
cause
warrior
chaos.
pick is growing on me, man. If I could stop being dog shit, I might consider it. This warrior pick is growing on me.
Yeah.
Getting my practice matches in right now so I don't make people mad by ending their games. I'm trying to get better. It's growing on me.
I'm curious to see how the dynamic is going to change with the meta and AOS after these nerfs come through, the nerfs and buffs. Because like Warrior is gonna obviously take a hit, and Suck DK is gonna be strong as fuck, right? So that'll be interesting to see that coming in. Fucking Suck Drake's gonna be gone, but for the most part, I haven't really seen too many because everyone's anticipating the nerfs. It's gonna be interesting. And that Frostflower buff, man. Oh, gonna be hitting something different, right, Frosty?
Oh, dude, that shit's about to be nuts. Well, actually, yeah.
It will be
I mean,
more-
down
it will be better
smashes
for-
fuck your combos. So yeah.
Yeah, it will be better actually. That one I can agree with. I can get behind that one.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. Imagine V'ing a Suck Zerker 100% when it CC caps you. Yeah, because no one can deal damage to you while you're stunned and then stunned again.
Imagine thinking that you're just safe.
Dude, I love
there
it.
double
I
CC'd.
love that. I love that. When there's like, it's like a Musa, a Zerker, and a Warrior. It's like, no, dude, why am I gonna V? Just let them hit me while this ult is also dealing damage. That's totally fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me-
So
me-
So instead, you save your V with like 10 to 20% HP, and then
Yeah,
you're being
if you're
run
lucky,
down to
yeah.
use your V anyways, and then you're coming out of your V with less HP. Yeah, that's a smart move, guy.
Yeah, and everyone's just at 100% health all the time until that Zerker ult too.
Tell me you're at starting elo without telling me you're still at starting elo.
True.
Dude, it's just so weird. Such a weird. Yeah, in ice, in a vacuum, if you're in a 1v1 against a Suck Zerker and they ult you, definitely don't need to V if you're full health and you get CC'd by the
That's
very
the
first tick.
only time.
But
This
if
is literally
you're
the
if you're in a 3v3, you're not full health and there's people around, they can capitalize on the initial stun. Yeah, you definitely are probably gonna have to V. He says he's rank 3 wrestler. I don't know what that means. So he is claiming to be. He is not your, I guess. He's Suck Nova. If he's on NA. Wow. Yeah, Ronald J is rank 1, Aurelio. All right. So, practice. What do you guys think of the practice mode and the fact that it didn't come with the team play that it was supposed to?
I think
Depression.
I think it's good, but they need to come out with the team part. However, if you have a group that's like a morning crew, you could do team practice that way. For the most part, you end up with the same team. I did it yesterday with some of the guys in Corrupt. And it was pretty consistent for the most part. But we had 6 players, so we were pretty much guaranteed to have you know, some form of team, makeshift team. So, but yeah, they need to add in the team aspect.
Yeah, we keep getting like a bunch of our guildies will all be in voice together and hit Q at the same time and just see who ends up with who.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But God, I wish they had the team Q for that, just for fun. I think it'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Just because it's less, people don't really care as much in there. It's less, it's way more casual. So it's like,
Yeah, more.
It would just be fun to
It
play with
allows for
people.
more fun moments.
And to run into other, I don't know, it just would be fun to play with friends during that mode for sure.
Agreed. I think PA is underestimating the value of that. Not to say that they're not putting it in. They are obviously are putting in the team thing, but underestimating the value of the fun aspect of it. For like maybe expanding on that idea for other things in the future.
Why do you think they didn't add it? Like, what do you think because they just said like it wasn't ready or whatever, but it needed more testing.
Translation issues,
Like, what does that mean? Why did it not get added?
I don't know. This game is generally focused around solo play, right? PvE solo for the most part.
Dude, I have to say too, people take the which classes or how many classes are in the top 100 so just literal and use it as like my class sucks. Like, for context, so someone put up a post the other day. It was before this recent update of the top 100 in EU and the top 100 in NA, and then broke down kind of the percentage of classes, right? The percentage of each class. And the people that are sitting there like, oh man, told you my class is shit, like 1.3%, lol, sad. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, where it's like, dude, you do realize that 7 of the classes make up 48% of that combined leaderboard? If you look at that chart, the 7 best classes, like, which is like Suck Nova, Musa, Warrior, Suck Mystic, like all the obvious ones, Drac, make up 48% of the whole chart. And then you still have, outside of that, you have 39 additional specs. Like, what percentage of the pie are you supposed to get that means your class is usable? It's like, I saw like, only 3 DKs in the top 100. That's sad. It's like, how is that sad? There's 46 goddamn specs. Like, how many are supposed to be in the top 100 for it to be good? And also, the top 100 is only 100 people. And there's so many variables. The top 100 like doesn't account for what happened in all of their team games, or maybe these people are getting Kadri map a bunch. There's so many variables. I just don't understand
classes.
There's it was funny too. I saw the
individual players
and the individual players, but it was funny because I saw the Nova was like 1.3%, right? And they were like, oh, dude, my class is shit. And I'm like, dude, yeah, mine too. Awaken Ash is also 1.5%. Must be a shit class, right? Like, what are you talking about? Just the number doesn't mean your class is bad. The number means, the number doesn't tell the whole story. There's so many things. First of all, the circumstances of each players. How good the best players are on that class. Like, maybe the best player on that class isn't as good as the best player on some of the other classes. Also, the circumstances of the team matchups. Did the best players on the class even have time to play? Like, for example, Dracul isn't even on the leaderboard yet, and he ended top 100 on Sages. So I guess Sage representation is skewed. Like, now there's not, like, one of the strikers, like Divios isn't even playing on Striker this season. So I guess Striker, now they only have 2 people in the top 100 or 3, so I guess that class is going to suck. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things, and the top 100 completely changes every 2 days when it updates. After the whatever, every time it updates, the top 100 completely changes. Yeah, Ming hasn't played, Belly hasn't played. Like, there's so many variables. Like, seeing the percentage doesn't mean much, and if your class isn't popular, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good either. Like there's 50 million suck hashes and only a few awaken hash. I would argue at the highest end, awaken hash is better than suck hash. But suck hash is going to have a larger percentage of the population because I think it's easier to play. And you're probably going to see way more of them. But that doesn't mean that awaken hash is shit compared to suck. So the number just doesn't tell the whole story. I just keep seeing so many people like, oh, not even more than 2 blah, blah, blah of my class in the top 100. Must be shit. It's like, okay. Not really. It just doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't, people just want like validation on like, yeah, my class is bad. It's as much as like the team play thing, right? It's like as much as don't blame your teammates. So many people are just like, yeah, well, you know, my class can't actually do anything. So that's why I'm losing, and this validates it. See how there's only 1.5% of the top 100 represented? That's because my class sucks. So it's just crazy. Yeah, there's 24 total classes, and of the 24 classes, 22 of them have a succession spec and an awakening spec. Even if it was broken down completely evenly, like you're at most going to be what, 2% out of the top 100 of EU and NA combined. That's 200 people. So if any class has 8%, now some class is going to be left off, like just based purely on, like, could be popularity, could be anything. There's so many variables. It's just like a weird, and also the top 100 just changes so much. It really does. It just changes a whole bunch. It doesn't say anything about your class necessarily. And unfortunately, as much as people hate it, it's like having a player in there on your class kind of says that it's possible. So I don't know. All right, what do we want? Is there anything really Solare related we want to talk about?
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that we need to? I don't really think so. I think we've pretty much covered everything.
No, we're getting all the changes on Tuesday afternoon. I don't know if you guys saw this, but for whatever reason, our patch is happening Tuesday at noon for 4 hours. It's like happening 12 hours earlier, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific for 4 hours. I don't know why, but they're doing an early maintenance on Tuesday, which is very unusual. So midday, I think we're all going to be playing Saints Row 5, right? That's when it comes out. I appreciate
Saints Row 5?
Yeah, dude. Why not? There's no GTA 6 anytime soon, so we need something.
No, I see. Yeah, no, I think I think that covers pretty much everything. Yeah. I mean, I got nothing. Do you want them to bring back Arahaza?
I do, yeah. I would like. I mean,
I also want them to bring back Arahaza.
With a weakened wind buff, it was more fun. I would love if they brought it back and just had no wind buff at all.
Yep.
I would love that so much because I thought that map was pretty fun and interesting. And then it also hopefully would mean I get Kadri less if they brought that map back. But I honestly think the only reason they haven't brought it back is I just don't think they've figured out the crashes. I think they can't fix it.
They got the translation guy working on the crashes, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the crashes, but my guess is that is something they have not been able to figure out. Otherwise, I don't see why it wouldn't be in there. But yeah, I thought that map was interesting. After they changed the start spawns, because they changed the starting location, the initial spawn locations were kind of dumb, and then after that, it wasn't so bad. Which I think they probably could, like maybe Jade could use some tweaking in that regard, so it's doesn't feel like high ground versus low ground at the start of the match. They could probably like adjust where the spawns are a little bit, so it feels more like a level playing field. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't mind that map coming back. I kind of liked that map. Dude, I actually really like the mansion map. God, I wish it didn't have so many of the heal orbs, because that map layout is super cool.
Yeah, I think Manchfalms is currently probably my second favorite. I think number 1 for me is Jade, number 2 is Manchfalm, number 3 is Aloons, number 4 is Ruins, and number 17 is Kadri.
Dude, just the amount of like Kadri is so bad that I honestly think it needs to be hot fixed out of the game, not wait till maintenance. It's that frustrating for people.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind if they fucking just ripped it out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with one less map for a while. We still have 4, so.
Oh, dude. Oh, that map. What a fun map. What a fun map. All right. There's only a couple little things on GLabs that I wanted to mention. They added the Marnie's private zone in Ackman and Histria. So you could do the 1 hour grind in both those spots. Ackman probably doesn't matter that much.
Treasure people rejoice, I suppose.
Well, Histria is actually good money now, especially with the Agris changes that they got a couple months ago. And Histria is actually a really crowded spot. So for that, having an hour is really nice. And then let me see if there's anything else like big. They changed one of the journal quests. Now you only need to catch blue grade fish in the 10-minute time, not seals, as long as it's blue grade. There was no real class changes. They did change the Drax flying a little bit. Now it's not going to descend as quickly. And you're less likely to get a fall animation. So maybe you'll be able to dive in from a little bit further.
How many Awakened Drax have you seen in Arena of Solare? I've seen 1. And they died instantly all 3 rounds.
I've seen a few. I've had a good one. I've had a good Awakened Drac on my team a couple times. They're not that common. They're pretty uncommon, but I've seen a few. I think they're underestimated a little bit, but I also think they're kind of hard to play. Like maybe not hard to play, like difficult mechanically, but hard to. There's a lot to the kit, so you got to like spend time on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because their damage in there feels really good. Their core skill, a lot of them are using aerial burst, feels really good, and then obviously they can engage and move around quickly, and they have a grab. But it's really easy to fuck up on that class. I think it's really easy to go in and not do anything. But for the good players that I've had with me, yeah, it feels nice to have. I don't mind having it on my team. They have okay CCs, good damage, and they can get to me or escape like pretty easily. And the good players do a pretty good job of staying up. It's one of these weird things that I think a lot of people have a hard time transitioning between the stances. Like once you brain fart on what stance you're in, you're basically dead.
Yeah.
If you have a single brain fart on the stance that you've ended up in during any of your engagements, and if you're any of the Dracs that don't use spacebar for swapping between stances, like you're probably just at a huge disadvantage. But I don't know. The class is okay. I still think they need to make Storm Maul just protected and remove the CC, and that class would probably be perfectly fine in Solare. All right, so here's the thing I wanted to talk about. The node war changes. So we got our first set of significant node war changes in a while. They're very confusing, Reslar. They are very, very confusing. So the good change is like the terrain isn't going to screw you as much if you're a builder. So that's cool. If you're on slopes, it's not going to be as bad. So that's cool. But they buffed the maximum durability of command of your forts by 20%. They buffed the durability of recovery centers for tier 1 by 10%. On tier 2, it says increase by 10% and defense increase by 25%. Tier 3 increased by 10%, defense increased by 16.7%. Then tier 4 durability increased by 10% and the defense increased by 14.2% compared to before. And then during Conquest War, 10% and the defense is increased by 28.5% compared to before. They buffed the durability of the supply depot by 15%. They buffed the durability of the elephant farm by 10%. It's showing, I guess, the comparisons of how much 10% increase actually is compared to before. They buffed the durability of flame towers in all tiers by 10%, and then enhanced flame towers in tier 3 and 4 by 15%. and then in Siege by 15%. So that's pretty scary. They buffed the damage of Hwachas by 10%, and they buffed the damage of the damage dealt to horses and elephants from Hwachas by 5%, and that's in everything, Node Wars and Siege. And then elephants, now, the javelin attack does 50% more damage to players. Basic attacks and dash attacks do 50% more damage. The damage of moving horn attack and front paw attack is now 37% more damage. The damage dealt against characters increased by 15%, and the maximum health of elephants by 70%. And then they changed the ballista to do more damage to characters and more damage to castle gates. And they can now deal damage to barriers. Says the ballista is changed to be effectively damage barriers, and barricades when attacking. So now they can help you take out barricades. And the damage dealt to annexes has been increased by 10 times by recovery recos and supply depots. Okay, so the elephant HP I get, right? Because elephants are kind of one of these weird. They get stuck in a trap, or once they're surrounded, it's just like just go down super fast. I don't understand the flame towers becoming tankier. Aren't flame towers, enhanced flame towers, already pretty insane?
Yes, they are.
They are, right?
Yeah, which was my confusion about that. I think everything else is probably like whatever. Not whatever. It's kind of hate all of it, if I'm being real with you. But the flame tower thing is the most egregious, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know why. So right now the game mode, this is how I always hear my leadership in my guild describe it, and I've heard this from other guilds as well, that a huge problem with Node Wars right now is it feels like you're just everyone's throwing themselves at buildings, and it's not fun. Like, players are not really fighting players. They're just fighting against buildings.
You're just inting on a flame tower, which is CCing you every 1.5 seconds. Or you have the other option, which is you just cannon for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you wait.
And then you get to have fun.
Yeah, you wait and protect your cannons and then go in once the flame towers are down. I don't know. It's strange to me. I guess it's disappointing because I'm at the point where I honestly think that Node War just needs a complete overhaul from top to bottom. So when they do these kinds of changes, basically tells me that that's not going to happen probably ever. So I guess my hope now lies on the Elven Wars, whatever those end up being. Hopefully that's cooler than Node War and replaces it one day. I don't know. I don't find Node Wars that fun lately. It's very rare that they're fun. It's like occasionally they're fun, but I want them to be fun. We had an alright war, us against you guys the other day, that 2v2.
Yeah, that was actually pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we get those pretty rarely because 9 times out of 10 we're fighting barcode for some reason, and they always like putting the weakest guild on our side, and I don't understand why.
But the other thing, too,
bizarre.
is even in that 2v2, it's still like the time to kill's dumb, and it makes things not fun. And also, we suicide on... It was enemy and corrupt, right? Or, sorry, not enemy. No, was it enemy and corrupt? What is your alliance?
Rare and corrupt versus APOC and... Who was on y'all's side? I'm blanking. Fuck. Who was it?
Oh my
Crawling?
God.
No.
No. Was it ZZZ?
No, it wasn't ZZZ.
Meow.
Meow. I think. Yeah.
That one.
Dandy, right? Isn't that the Dandy Alliance? I think.
I don't know, actually.
I don't remember. Anyway, I think that was it. Yeah, that sounds true.
But it's so much. It still was like so much of it. It was so rare we get to actually fight. In that fight in the beginning, there was a lot of fighting on that hill, like a little bit outside of corrupt space. So those engages were fun. But then it was like, all right, we're changing. Let's go put pressure on rare, and then just suicide into flame tower. And then, okay, Corrupt is at Meow's base. Let's go suicide into Corrupt's flame towers. You know, it's just like, I don't know. It's just strange. Also, it's sad because unless all 4 of those guilds agree and schedule it, that fight just never happens, right? There's no organic fights ever in this game because of the way Node War is laid out. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. That was a good fight though, and we had a good time. That was the best fight that we've had in a minute.
It was such a good, like, it was a good, super evenly matched, so it didn't feel like anyone was just fucking shitting on anybody. It was just very back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Yeah, normally it's like, that's why I honestly think 2v2 is kind of the way to go if you can balance the teams. Once you have 3, it's just too easy to either 3 guilds CTG on one to take it out, or like the 3rd guild on one of the teams is just too weak and not helping enough. So 2v2s are always fun. I don't know. That was pretty cool. But lately, outside of these preset 2v2s that are organized and planned ahead of time, very rare that they're any good. And even then, I do wish it was more about fighting players versus players than fighting against all these buildings.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know what changed, to be honest. I mean, I know like the tankiness and the durability, but I feel like back in the day, what was different back in like the Hex days, that it felt like we were actually fighting just Corrupt. Like when we were fighting against Corrupt,
enhanced flame towers is definitely one of the main contributors, right? It used to be you get on a flame tower. If your whole ball gets on a flame tower, you can take that shit down in like, 20, 30 seconds, if your whole ball's on it. Now with enhanced flame towers, it takes at least like a minute and some change minimum, even if your entire ball is on it. So enhanced flame towers are definitely a fucking problem, but yeah, I don't know. I think they're caught in this endless loop of let's buff structures, let's buff cannons, let's buff structures, let's buff cannons, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, nobody wants either of these things. Why do you keep doing this?
Yeah. Oh, that's the other change is the number of fortresses built in Nodorn Conquest War territory will now only be displayed 1 hour before. So once you're already at lockout. So you won't be able to know how many people are on any placements. So that's always...
Yeah, I honestly feel like I don't know. Maybe if you increase structure damage from players, you bring down the amount of structures, including defensive structures, and increase maybe, I don't know. I don't even know what you can do exactly. Maybe increase barricade count, but then also reduce barricade tankiness. But then dude, I have no idea. I'm so like...
Well, here's how I put it, and I don't even know how you'd change it. But, by the way, Nayashi said he had to run, family emergency. I don't know if we've addressed that.
All.
But, I can boil the problem down to this. Back in the day, the goal, unless I was just bad, or we were just bad, or all the guilds I was in were bad, but back in the day, the goal used to be to try to get an open field fight, win, and then use that victory to push their base. Because the each individual annex wasn't so valuable outside of the supply depot that you had to just suicide on forts over and over and over again because it was the only way to get things down. Like right now, it feels like if we didn't get any progress on the flame towers, then we've done nothing. Whereas back in the day, that wasn't the case, right? It was like, if we didn't kill enough of their players, then we're not going to be able to do damage on their fort. Now it's like reversed. If we didn't do enough damage to their fort, then we didn't do anything. You know what I mean? I don't even know how you'd fix it. I think it's so difficult to change.
I wonder if this ties into TTK at all, because with TTK being as low as it is, they had to, I think, because TTK is so low, they reduced respawn timers, right? So now at the beginning of the war, your respawn timer is fucking like, what, 8 seconds? Some crazy shit like that.
Dude, speaking of, yesterday we had a 4-hour siege. We 1v1'd Fuego. It's stalemated 4 hours, right? The entire time, 7-second respawns for the entire 4 hours. Just because the whole thing is based on recovery centers. So, like, as long as everyone gets the recovery centers up, it's just 4 hours of 7-second respawns. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It might actually be more fun if you lived longer, but then the respawn timers were a little bit. I don't know. I have no idea, man. Node Wars is just such a weird thing to me. Because you know how I feel. I still feel like 100 players versus 100 players is just not even fun to begin with. Because even if you change time to kill a little bit, you'd have to change it so significantly that would make a 700 versus 700 even matter.
In terms of war sizes, I still just think you need to cap it at 50. Cap war participation at 50. 100 v 100. I mean, maybe you can do 100 v 100 for siege alone. I still just think that's too much, though. But if you want the spectacle of it, then, like, fine, I guess. But 50 v 50 is the most that anything should be, because even 50 v 50 is a bit much to me.
Yeah, I miss tier 3 and 4 30-mans, too.
Mm-hmm. And I think you would get more of the 30-mans of like lower count guilds fighting if you capped it at 50, because that would require, which I know this is like a hard thing for people to do. Guilds are going to have to split, right? Because if you have, obviously you're not bringing 100 people to like your wars or your sieges, obviously, but you have theoretically 100 fighters in there, 100 PvPers. And if you cap it at 50, then a bunch of those guys are going to want to leave, right? So they're going to leave and go start their own guild. You've now essentially doubled the amount of guilds in the game. You're also going to have, instead of one guild bringing 90, you're going to have 2 guilds bringing 40. So, I don't know. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, and every time we've talked about this over the years, there's always a lot of pushback against it. And I mean, for good reason. It's not a fun thing to say, hey, you're going to have to go, like, find a new home or start your own. You can't keep playing with your guild, but I think it's kind of necessary, honestly.
Who knows? Something will change one day. But for now, flame towers are stronger, so that's a buff.
Yay!
It's pretty exciting. I think that's it. You ready for some comments? Dude, I'm excited for Tuesday to get these changes, because, dude, I'm on the copium so bad right now for Kuno's spin spree. Like, I'm sitting here in my head, I'm like, dude, come Tuesday, I'm gonna go into Node Wars and just fucking obliterate people. And it's gonna be sick. I'm just gonna spin. I'm gonna fucking stomp spin, and people are gonna die, and it is gonna be glorious. I cannot wait. Yeah, it was funny. Last night's Siege was pretty unique. Smash is talking about the Kuno. Last night's Siege, we were against the enemy guild. It's like Sluzzy, Reezy, and Nudes. Like, we're all in there just fighting Smash the entire Node War, apparently. Or the entire Siege. I only got to engage with them like a couple times. I mostly was fighting in the big ball fight, so they weren't even around. And yeah, and then they also have J-Step, Etsu. Dude, that whole guild has so many well-known players. It's actually wild. Yeah, J-Step fighting J-Step and Etsu. Yeah, I would not want to have been in Flex yesterday. It would have been terrible. Fighting J-Step, Etsu, Reezy, Dude, Sluzzy, and then fucking randomly Invasion Storm on a wizard instead of a hash. That was confusing. Oh yeah, Twizzy was popping off yesterday too. Yeah, it was crazy.
Can I just point out, I have 3 sages in my game right now. Half of my lobby is sages.
Yeah. All right, comments. I'll read last week's, and then you read this week's.
Yeah.
Because I guess 2 weeks ago, because we also missed a day.
Yes.
All right, one sec. Let's go here. All right, let me see if there's anything I have to delete. God, this is so long ago now. When you miss a week of comments and a week of the podcast, you end up so far behind. Oh my God. All right. Is this sorted by new? Okay. All right. Reading the comments. For those who are just joining or joining for the first time or have never been here before, we usually always read the comments on the show. Sometimes if we skip, then we have to read 2 sets. So that's what we're doing today. This is from 2 episodes ago. So some of the context we're going to have to try our best to remember. So here we go. Greed says, first Black Rose with Frosty, now juiced with Nayashe. What's going to happen to our favorite Gearlit Rezlar?
What, in terms of my guild?
Well, he's saying that we get kicked out of our guilds.
No, I'll probably stay in Bloodthirst until I quit this game, honestly.
Rezlar's been kicked out of plenty of guilds, trust me. He doesn't need to be kicked out of anymore.
Oh, for sure.
Dex2 says, just to clarify my comment from a few podcasts ago, I was responding to Rez expressing frustrations over players not knowing grind rotations. My point was grinding on my archer is a lot different than grinding on other classes. I don't need to be fed to mobs for using an unconventional rotation. I could just swap servers or go to private zone to stay out of the way. I don't need I love the idea of that. I don't need to be fed to mobs for grinding poorly or weird. That is true. You don't. Striker Hero says value pack intro got changed since Frosty can't gear check Nayashe. Nayashe now Mewa check Frosty. It is true. He just kills me in like 2 skills now. Emma Way says was gonna happen sooner or later. Nayashe Shaky's ego seems limitless. Add more just as an update to the whole saga. Nayashe is now in Corrupt, I think.
And I think a bunch of people followed him there.
Yeah, and a lot of his Blader friends followed him.
Juiced is currently at 17 members, so
and growing. Admori says the way they nerf classes, questionable nerfs, they refer to it as 350 AP/450 DP gear score. That's why. I can't remember the context for this, so I feel like I'm out of the loop here. Mian says, I hate how they fucking let you rebox the Orzeka, but not the Nuver outfit. PA be like, oh, you re-rolled, but you still want to use your Nuver outfit? Well, tough luck, buddy. Go save up another 37 bill for a second set. This actually changed. When it came to live server, they actually do let you rebox both of them. So, there you go. They listen to you, Mian. Visaria says, okay, podcast actually starts around 17 minutes for anyone that wanted timestamps. LOL. I think because that day
I'm pretty sure I did timestamp it.
Yeah, I think he's talking about how in the beginning we were talking about movies and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm pretty confident I checked the description. I'm pretty confident I timestamped it when it actually starts.
Yep.
Bastard.
Yeah, you did. Bastard. Okay, fuck you, Visaria. Unlisted says family when? I guess family's recruiting. Not May, but Musa. I drive Nissan, though before my crash, I had Civic. Great car. Yeah, Nissan's, they make some good cars.
I had a Nissan. I loved it until I wrecked it. Sag.
That is sad. Sakata Lorian says, to my experience, Draconic Awakening, PvE-wise, is a FU, Hecking Beast, a Moonster, an overpowered top grinder when it has a weapon in Elvia zones. When it doesn't, I mean, it's not terrible at Valencia spots, I guess, if there isn't too much rocks to get stuck on. Yeah. It ended up being like, after all the changes, it's like kind of average-ish. Not great. Not terrible. Although it feels terrible to me compared to Hash, so for me it's terrible. Blood Diamond 78 says, things I personally hate about Awakening Draconia. 1, if a skill moves you, it uses/pauses stamina. Class like Warrior Suckzerker can practically get away with constantly having a full stamina bar while moving. Skills like Airstrike or Deadly Dance move you and don't cost stamina, although the Airstrike one is changing. No design consistency from class to class. 2, AoEs feel small. 3, catches feel way too limited and super hard. The class needs 1 or 2 more quick protected CCs. 4, some Hexblade skills are just plain too slow and very small. 5 PvE nerfs just need to be completely reverted. 6 no proper PvE pull skill. There actually is not. Like I don't know. To pull, you actually have to use Brimbolt Raise, which just feels so sad to me. 7, the flying skill should be as it was before and be able to fly, not begin a rapid descent. So that actually is kind of coming. They're reverting that a little bit. Don't get me wrong, class is fun, just held back in some aspects while thriving in nothing. Dark Empire says, new nick for Musa Nisando. It's a Nissan joke there. Steve Smith says, you know how you know Shaky is a clown? He sticks up for Joe Never. Enough said. It doesn't surprise me at all. Shaky, who has a history of being petty, got mad over something petty. I'm not sure I understand the relationship there, but sure. Silver Zico says, Frosty, stop saying Kunosuck PvE good when she is not. She is a button tier PvE class. What does button tier mean?
Button tier?
Yeah. Sakuno PvE is decent. That's all I said. It's decent. It's like passable. It got worse with the PvP nerfs, which I feared was going to happen. It definitely got worse. So hopefully something can happen to bring it at least back to where it was. But it's not like the most terrible thing in the world. Mick333 says, honestly, I bet when Shaky and Nayashe were arguing about tagging Drax, Nayashe just kept saying Dracunia, and Shaky just lost it and kicked him. Lamau. IDSync said, yeah, I agree. Day 1 nerfs just look and sound horrible. It was finally a class style I loved and was going to come back to find out what it would be, performing way worse than my Valk. I was just like, meh. He did like a meh face. Plus, it feels bad to grind if you don't pay their sub, value pack, and Kama Blessing. Yep. Makito said, please keep doing these podcasts. I enjoy listening to your perspectives and hearing your opinions on things both in-game and IRL. Question, what would you prefer in terms of PvP game balance? This current one-shot meta, where Awakening Musa and Suck Drak are king and queen, or the meta before class reboots? As a follow-up question, do you think blanket PvP damage nerf would be good for most of the classes, or their current class features that stand out as too powerful? Edit, August 5th, Global Lab update as Succession Drak nerfs. Do you think they went too far with it? Okay, so for me personally, no, I would not want to go. It was still a one-shot meta before the reworks. It's funny how history changes. Obviously, more classes deal more damage, but people were dying standing up before the reworks. Constantly. The time to kill thing has been an issue for a long time.
Reworks just made it worse. It didn't cause the problem. It just kind of compounded onto it.
I would love some sort of durability type patch, but it would have to be well thought out, and a lot would have to be taken into consideration. If they could somehow make the class balance still feel somewhat comparable to today while not having everyone just instantly die, I just don't know how you would do it without breaking something. So, yeah, it would be cool to fix time to kill a little bit, but I don't know how it would be done. It'd be really, really tough. And let's see. Yes, there are definitely classes that feel too strong in the game still currently. And the Draconia nerfs, did they go too far with it? I think they did in one single patch. I'm not a fan of nerfing 5 abilities plus your entire mechanic that your class was made to do all in one single patch. I think if they both needed to be added and it turns out to still be a super good class, fine, but it still could have been damage nerfs first and then the ion nerf if it wasn't enough, and then the iframe nerf or something along those lines instead of all of it in one single patch. I don't know. No testing done at all.
On principle and logically speaking, yeah, you should never make that many changes at once when you're trying to balance. It should be fairly incremental. But on an emotional level, fuck that class.
Yeah. The class is miserable. Also, Rez, I was going to say, I forgot to say it earlier, but you said, how does a Drak, you don't do only, I forgot how much damage it was. What did you say?
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000.
1,300.
I had a Drak on the opposite team that I actually think is a decent Drak who ended up with 3,000 damage because somehow he got grabbed by either our Mystic or our Zerker in the beginning of the match, or our Mystic or Striker in the beginning of the match, all 3 times, which is KD, and he couldn't V, and we were able to kill him before he V'd. So 3 matches in a row, he got grabbed like immediately, and he ended up only with 3,700 damage. But it was literally like he didn't V in time and then was KD'd, so he lost.
Yeah. But I mean, I still think 3,000, that's 3 times the amount that my track did. Like, 1,000 damage is just like Brimbolt and the Flow. Like, that's 1,000 damage.
That's way,
I mean,
actually more. That's way more than 1,000. Like, if you actually hit someone with both of those, that's definitely going to do more than 1,000 damage.
Yeah, like, I legitimately don't understand.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, my DK other teammate only did 7k. So it's like, fuck, man.
He's working on it. That's why DK's getting buffed.
Yeah, right.
Vesper says, data lamap.
Oh, hold on. We just need to address this real quick. Someone in your chat just said they need to rework V or just remove it from Arena because not being able to sometimes is annoying. No, they just need to let you V during knockdowns.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant by rework V though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, he says remove it from Arena. No, for the love of God, do not remove V from Arena. Are you kidding me? That would be so miserable. No, they just need to get rid of that stupid fucking rule that says you can't V during knockdowns or other random situations. Like I think if you get down smashed, you can't V until the animation finishes or some weird shit. There's like weird ass rules. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, V is a very it's just weird. It's inconsistent. And also the rules of V have not changed since even pre-CC changes, so it's like
it's a different game now.
Yeah, it's a different game now. So it's
I genuinely feel like they had a different vision for the game back in like the pre-Awakening days whenever the game was first come out. Like they had a different idea of what combat would look like in this game from what we have now. I mean, that's kind of just obvious based on what they've done with like Awakenings and reworks, and I mean, just look at anything they've done. But like that still hasn't changed, and it's a very integral part of PvP.
Yeah, it's controversial, but I think you should be able to V out of anything. I think V, you shouldn't be stuck in any player's arms when you V.
Yes.
And I also think that the very end animation where you're visible should not be CCable. Like, you shouldn't be able to V cheese people and be able to use an ability before they could react to where you're coming out of V, but like was happening before. But V sniffing to me is terrible. I don't find it cool or even that skillful, especially because not every class is as good at doing it. There are a few classes that are so much better at doing it that it's just a huge disadvantage for a lot of players and a lot of classes that literally their class is not capable of doing it. I mean, there are classes, there are 2 classes I have in mind that even if they guess wrong, the moment someone appears on the map, even if they went the wrong way, they can get back to them in time and still fucking pop them out of their V. So it's like, I don't know. Not a fan of the V sniff thing either. All the stuff basically surrounding V is weird. It's just weird that your emergency escape oftentimes is what gets you killed or makes you lose.
You also shouldn't be able to die in V. Like if you have a dot on you or something, you should be invulnerable to damage while you're in V, I feel like. Also, if you V and you die within 0.01 seconds of Ving, that cooldown should get refunded. That's fucking bullshit.
I don't know if I'm on board with the bleed shouldn't still affect you when you're in V, but I do agree you shouldn't be able to take any new damage in V, and sometimes you can. I've actually multiple times been already moving in my V, and someone's able to grab me.
No, see, like what Dreadspark is saying in your chat, it should just cleanse. It should cleanse slows, it should cleanse like debuffs, it should cleanse bleeds. Like it should just cleanse you so that you can actually like reposition like properly and have full usage of your V.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
XRM officials asked me in chat if they should add win rate for each map. Yes. That would be sick to know. All right, Vesper said, or sorry, Tong says, my grandmother in her early 70s flew from the USA to Cambodia, which is a hell of a trip. So 50 easy. Yeah, because I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Nyashi. Basically saying after 50, it's really hard to fly because you're old.
No, okay.
Or
No,
was it
I was
you?
talking about
I
that,
can't
and you
remember.
guys misrepresented what I was saying. All I was saying is it's way easier to do those kinds of trips when you're younger.
I
It literally
agree.
just
I
is.
just
You
don't think
can't
it's...
debate that.
I agree. I just don't think 50 is where it's like it's getting hard at 50.
It's not like it's impossible to, even if you're like 80 years old, yeah, you can still get on a plane and travel, but it's a lot fucking easier to do it when you're 20.
I think if you're anywhere from 20 to like the later stages of 50, it's fine. If you're a kid, it's different. Literally nothing affects you. And then if you're old, everything affects you. All right, Vesper says, Data, Lamau, PA is a bunch of amateurs trying to fix balance issues based on stuff they don't understand or even try to do. Dracania should be on par with Guardian PvE release and be a top-tier PvE class aside from PvP balance. She's a fucking main story character and daughter of dragons. Lots of players love the design of the class. Suck PvP overperforming PvP was overshadowed by both specs, bad performance in PvE, by no fucking reason. The worst class launch so far, not even Hash was so bad released. Well, Hash was, Awaken Hash PvE was bad on release, and Awaken Hash was like good in 1v1 on release, and everyone hated it and everything else. But Suck Hash was pretty nuts on release. So I don't know if you could say the Hash was bad on release. What's up?
Could I interest you? It's always kind of forgotten because they immediately fixed it. But could I interest you in Release Striker?
Yeah.
Genuinely the worst class they have ever released. It was so fucking bad at everything.
It was really bad at everything. I actually don't know for sure.
Now, people forget about it because they fixed it 1 week later, right? So people think like, oh yeah, Striker was fine on release. But the actual release of Striker, it was dog shit.
Yeah, there's another one that I think could be competitive with it, but we didn't get to experience it, was Awaken Lawn, because the timing of it. So here's what happened when Awaken Lawn came out in Korea was pre-CC changes. And I remember every Korean saying how shit the class was, and it got like buff after buff after buff, like protected CCs added, and like everything in the kit ended up being like a protected CC. And then they did the CC changes, and then we got Lawn after the CC changes. So we got like a totally different Lawn than Korea got once it came to our server. We didn't even ever get to experience that initial launch of Lawn, and I'm pretty sure it was bad just based on the number of patch changes that they got on that class, like 5 weeks in a row, where it was like literally a whole list of fucking changes. Because I remember Mystic came out and literally fucking nothing changed. It got like there were no bullet points. And then Striker, it took a month, and then they got a bunch of changes and they made them actually good. But Mystic had like nothing. It got like its vacuum nerfed, and that was it. And then the CC changes. But yeah, Lawn was like a weird one. It might have been bad as well. Just we never got to experience what it was like. All right, Laggy Skill says, I believe Nyashi's story, but a lot of it sounds to me like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. I just refused to play an OP class. Shaky got super mad, kicked me for no good reason, end quote. I don't think their argument came out of nowhere. Let's be real. We all know about that. Nyashi can be a little toxic at times. Even here on the podcast, Rezlar and Frosty sometimes make a Meiwa joke or say something sarcastic. He gets super mad for no reason, then throws slight shade as if any of it was serious. If he's like that with longtime friends and Rezlar and Frosty, I have no doubt there is more toxic shit happening with Shaky and random members of the guild. That's just my opinion. Great podcast as always. Keep it up. I love you all. Okay. So it
was Shaky though, because literally everyone else in Juice left.
Yeah, but I'm gonna break this down to just Nyashi. I don't think Nyashi gets toxic like you're saying. I think people obviously get frustrated when they're made fun of a lot, or if you're arguing with them a lot. Obviously, people get frustrated. But at the end of the day, let's say they did have a really bad argument about whether Drax should be played or not, or whether like anything about GVGs or anything guild related. At the end of the day, Laggy Skills, even if in the argument Nyashi was in the wrong, let's give Shaky the benefit of the doubt. You just don't kick out your friends for an argument. You just don't do it. I'm sorry, you just don't. They're both adults. Nyashi's 34 years old, just got kicked out because he doesn't want to play Drac. Like, give me a break, dude.
Or again, if we're giving Shaky the benefit of the doubt, because he gets mad when he gets CC'd out of Chase, which like I get mad when I get CC'd out of essays. Like I complain about it. So does that mean I get kicked out from my guild that's full of my friends? No. Like,
dude,
what the fuck?
just don't,
so weird. Also, I guarantee you Shaky complains when he gets knocked out of protections. I guarantee you. Because everyone does. Everyone gets frustrated when they get knocked out of protections.
Yeah, and also, Shaky's in the same boat as Reslar and I. He's been friends with Nyashi for a long time. That's not a new friendship. They've known each other forever. So, you don't take a couple-year friendship and be like, well, we disagree on this GVG stuff. You're out. Peace. Like, I don't know. You just don't do it.
Yeah. And once again, hindsight being what it is, we're reading this comment in the future from when it was posted. Absolutely, Shaky was in the wrong, as evident by everyone else leaving the guild and being like, yeah, we don't want to be with Shaky anymore. So it was very obviously not a Nyashi problem. This is very obviously a Shaky problem, so.
Yeah. Brian Adams posts a link to something that says to every developer and BDO player, and then Maneria says, Fame quit the game a while ago. Sometimes she updates stuff when asked directly, but she hasn't done that in quite a while. I think that was for
Rip.
Something Lovely.
Something Lovely. Yeah, it's Something Lovely. Rest in peace, fam. We miss you. I used Something Lovely so much back in the day.
It'd be cool to merge some of those features into the Garmoth stuff.
Yeah, get the Garmoth.com guys to hire fam.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. All right. Next thing. You want me to keep going? I could just keep going. I don't mind.
No, I can do it. I already got it pulled up.
Okay. Let me scroll down.
Yeah, I'm prepared. I'm ready.
All right.
King Shepherd 23 says first. Yes, you are. Kenny G says Value Pack Podcast Wedding Edition. Eh?
Oh yeah. So it's happening fast, by the way. In November. Yeah.
Oh wow, that is fast. Sarcer says, hate the slows. I have no idea how this isn't the top one problem in BDO right now. One big one you forgot is Suck Mystic Orb. It's not just the part where you get slowed, it's the part where your skill animations and corresponding protection icons don't line up with the actual protected status anymore. This isn't as obvious on classes that have tiny lingers at the end of their skills, but on classes where protection cuts off at the exact same time the animation stops, it's pretty much destroying the entire class, and slows then all of a sudden mean there's a hole in between two fully protected skills that would normally chain together without any issue. Most players would probably call this desync, but it's not. It's a slow bug, and it needs to be fixed.
Okay, so, Sarcer, it's actually not a slow bug. It's a bug with the protections. The slows have been in the game for 5 years. That only started happening in November of 2021, and it's a problem that... Now, I do agree some slows are still overpowered and need to be nerfed down, but that bug in the protections needs to be fixed. Yeah, slows are not designed to be making it so you're CC'd out of protection. That is a new annoying ass fucking bug that got added into the game almost a year ago now and still not fixed by Pearl Abyss, even though it's been reported and submitted and shown how to re-replicate it thousands of times. They absolutely refuse to fix it for whatever reason. But that's not an inherent slow issue. It's an issue with the way protections work and them not extending the duration of the actual skill animation in order to prevent abuse from print screen and other things. So that needs to get fixed. Again, I get slows are frustrating and no one likes being slowed, and I do think some of the slows are too powerful. Suck Mystic, Wave Orb is one of them. Awaken Hash, Ensnaring Sands, another. Like, all of these slows could be reduced down to like 15%, where they're still impactful but not fucking devastating. But I don't think all slows should be removed from the game. I still think slows are okay. The game moves so fast now that like having no slows in the game just seems would be weird. But I do think some are way too strong, especially the ones that are very easy to apply.
Greed says the year is 2122. The human population has cut by 890% due to droughts and mass climate change due to global warming. BDO4 is now the titan of the VR MMO industry. The average gear score of concurrent 50 million players is 700. Items can be upgraded to X, Deca, and there exist 80 classes with the latest edition, the Fujin, being a wind necromancer. Oh, we finally got it. Frosty, we only have to wait till 2122. Mass
I'm done.
pandemic spreads once again this year, and that takes a big toll on humanity, pushing it to the brink of extinction. But you see one final beacon of hope: a single streamer on Twitch. Biohack's great granddaughter Kim plays. She goes attempt number 64 on Hex Fallen God. Before the attempt finishes, human falls victim to the virus. She forgot to cron attempt. What a fucking dent.
What a beautiful
That painted
story.
Yeah, that painted a beautiful picture. Thank you,
Yeah.
Greed.
That was very pretty.
Assassin says, yeah, Guardian's Axe throw is 13 seconds but has 50% attack cast movement speed debuff. That's 3 for 1 special. Y'all like to forget stuff. I'll remind you. LOL. I'll keep you honest. Edit 1. Or actually, do you want to pause there? Or do you want to just...
No. Just,
Okay,
yeah.
edit 1. As far as Rezlar's thoughts towards equalized gear for PvP, I don't mind it per se as long as it's restricted to the arena. I like PvP, but when I started, I knew I needed gear, so I pulled myself by the bootstraps, which is a very silly analogy, by the way. And now, after 4+ years of circling in a circle, I'm 702 gear scores. I suffered, so everyone else should suffer too. I
That's
worked
right.
long and hard to get my gear, so invalidating my progress by only doing equalized gear and no room, as far as we know, since there's no geared arena, just doesn't feel right for me, at least. I did participate in the last Arena Solare. People that worked for their gear should get to use it in arena, is what I'm saying, and as someone who enhanced all his gear himself, feels like I'm being cheated, sort of.
Assassin, I'm telling you right now, you don't want to use your gear in arena because a Nuver Lieber Offen build is gonna get destroyed in there. All right, just saying.
Yeah. I don't know. We've been over this a million times before. There's no real reason to focus too much on it. But the idea that I suffered, so everyone else has to suffer, or it's invalidating my progress, is very, very silly. That's like saying, well, we shouldn't have cars. Everyone should still be riding around on horses because
where's
it
that trolley
invalidates
meme?
the progress.
Where's that? Where's that trolley meme where the trolley
we should
already
still
killed?
be using carrier pigeons because it invalidates the progress of people who used carrier pigeons before cell phones. Like, it's such a goofy fucking argument that doesn't make any goddamn sense if you think about it for a half second.
It goes something along the lines of, should I pull this lever? Would that be fair to the family that's already died to the trolley to pull this lever and save the next family that's on the tracks? I don't think so. Like, come on, man. I also, yeah, gear isn't equalized everywhere. It's in the arena, and that's it, and that's fine. And the arena is a ranked version. Yeah, your gear. I still feel motivation to grind. My gear still matters everywhere else. And then when I go into arena, I get to just not think about gear and just do PvP. And that's great.
Yeah.
And think about
so funny
orbs
to
instead.
me, the idea that like, oh, well, they're equalizing everything. We literally have one part of this game that is equalized now. And it's, oh, well, everything is becoming equalized. Because let's be honest, T1s is not actually equalized. Because if you have higher gear score, then you're allowed to do fucking cheese builds with all kinds of random bullshit. So it's not truly equalized. Arena Solare is the only actually equalized content that we have in the game, and people like to lose their minds over it, and it's so confusing to me. The Fangs says, I play BDO to be a crazy hoarder. Like, I have some gear about 630, so nothing to write home about, but I enjoy life skilling, so I got basically the top-end life skill geared. Manos, pen tools, clothes, etc. It's always the point where I could upgrade my gear if I wanted to, but I just don't bother. I have over 300 bill in materials just sitting in one of my storage. If I count all the materials in every storage, it might even reach 400 bill. That is more than enough to upgrade my gear to reach early in-game, but I don't, just because I don't enjoy grinding, nor PvP. So yeah, that guy who said that should not play MMO if they don't like gear progression is just weird. Nothing wrong to play an MMO to just enjoy playing it.
Yeah, that's the great thing about MMOs is there's a whole bunch of different things you can do, and you can progress however you want or not progress.
No, Frosty, the only way to play an MMO is the way that I play it.
You could be like Hunter, who spent the first 2 years just hopping around on Velia roofs, staying the exact same gear score.
True. Very true. Let's see. Calahad says, some say I'm still in Rezlar's arms to this day. Is he the one that I have grabbed in the intro? I guess
think
it has
so,
to be.
yeah. I think he is, yeah. In that community night, yeah.
Aries says at 4125, Anu Muna do Anu Muna do. Which I don't know. What's this timestamp?
I think that was someone was thinking and they were like trying to say something and couldn't think of what to say, and they said something along those lines. I can't remember who it was.
Oh no! Wait, what? Wait, what are you saying at this timestamp?
Is it
What are you
me?
saying? Yeah, it's
I don't know.
it's you trying to say it's you saying phenomenon over and over again. That's what it is. I'm like, what the hell is?
Oh.
What is this? All right.
Suck Striker
Imperium
is going to be
Dreamer
pushed to
says
next
some of the
week,
tamer
which
community
isn't.
are as delusional as the DK Discord. Those of us who aren't crazy don't think the class is that bad and pretty much universally agree that there are 3 changes Awakening Tamer needs: Guard on BR, iframe on Cloud, Ride Flight, bigger AoE on all skills. That's 1 down, so it's definitely a step in the right direction. That said, I hate the Howling change. The last thing we need is another trap, which doesn't work properly, especially given the current Howling is actually good. For Suck, it's harder to say, but personally I'd like to see Roaring be SA instead of Guard, and Trample turned into a movement skill similar to Eradication on Lawn. Of course, both specs need the pet to be fixed. It would be nice if Howling at least did some damage, but more importantly, Void and Roaring, etc. need to actually work. This is one thing where their new philosophy regarding multi-hit CCs has no place. Catches are Tamer's biggest weakness, and while being able to choose other cores will help, the main reason it's so painful is Void being so bugged out. Anything?
Yeah.
Resident Tamer?
No, I mean I'm with him. I understand him.
I
do
don't,
like the
'cause
I do like
don't
the
play that class.
I do like the simplifying it to like there's only really 3 things that we need. Everything to have a bigger AoE. Like
Yeah.
bigger AoE on all abilities. Just one minor thing, you know? Just throwing it in there.
Small. Start small and then work your way up, you know?
I do think that so it's weird because I actually think after Tuesday that Tamer is going to be really good. It's already decent in Solare, and I think after Tuesday it's going to be really good. Because forward protected damage in Solare is so huge, and that skill fucking hits like a truck.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to use a different core, especially in like large scale stuff, being able to use a different core is going to be pretty strong. So I don't know. I think for PvE it needs some stuff too. The AoEs are huge for PvE. But yeah, I don't know. I think Tamer's pretty good. It does suck with the traps, specifically Void Lightning, because it was such a signature thing and everyone knew not to fight in it. And now it's just kind of like a thing you don't worry about or think about. And that part does kind of suck.
Yeah. Admore says a PA class release scheme, release an OP succession class, Corsair Sage Drac, make it OP for at least a month or 2, release their awakening in a shit or average state. C players are still playing Succession after Awakening release. Upon Awakening, make it OP or very good. Lastly, nerf the shit out of it. Easy money for PA.
Yeah, that trend on Awakening actually isn't that consistent. I mean, it didn't really happen with Hash. It didn't really happen. Now it's not happening with Drac. It did happen with Sage.
I don't think it really happened with Corsair.
Yeah, it didn't happen with Corsair either.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the 2 specs ends up being nuts and then they nerf the shit out of it, and the other one just who knows is random RNG.
Nut Protector says no more video games for Frosty. Sad face. Yep, count your put it on the date, boys. November. No more Frosty.
It is true.
Ben Sherman says, generally don't understand why people are so averse to having multiple progression paths. Why does it upset people that a PvP player could progress their gear by playing PvP, i.e. the part of the game that they enjoy? Also, to the point of equalized PvP, I think it's good as it helps get newer players through the door and gives them a fighting chance rather than getting run over by a 700 gear score Andy. Grats on the engagement, Frosty.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very bizarre.
Dude, it's by the way, it's fucking... I cannot believe that now that the actual season's out, there's literally not even RBF rewards. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
holy shit, man. It's so fucking dumb. It's so frustrating to me.
But PvP is evil, Frosty. PvP is not a good thing. It's bad, and it's not.
Apparently,
it's not a good
Solare
thing.
is even more evil than RBF. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm genuinely convinced that the devs just hate PvP. Like, I'm honestly convinced of it at this point. They legitimately hate PvP. That's the only explanation I can come up for. Frank's 80 says, while I'm sure most people are like, yeah, F Drac nerfing in the ground, these kinds of shotgun to the head changes just frustrate people, and they end up quitting the game. I'm all for nerfs to get rid of FOTM players, but these changes seem like I just won't be able to play Suck Drac at all. As it was, I was grinding history on Suck because Awakened Drac is useless grinding in most places, where mobs are not tanky, so now I'll need a PvP and PvE alt. And as we can only tag one character, I have no place for Drac. Lucky for me, I have reroll coupons I saved. I wish they would let us tag more than one class so I could play a dead class for fun. Also, having played since 2018, I quit for a year and came back recently. The podcast really helped me catch up, so thank you all. Welcome back, man. I'm sorry you relapsed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with Drac. The way that they handled it, I hate it too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just dumb.
Greed says, I vouch that Musassin should attend the wedding. I will pay for flight, hotel, and other fees he needs. Musas need a voice no matter where they need it. Our voice of reason and our pope. A wedding isn't a wedding without a man of his stature. He's also technically a close friend of yours, Frosty. He's been texting you through the Value Pack Discord for years. Isn't that true camaraderie? The conversations are deep and nuanced, like the conversation of two longtime best friends. It'd be a shame, so hashtag Musassin for Frosty Wedding 202X. Well, now we know it's going to be 2022, so.
You know what's so funny is he's so like just so consistent with his personality. He spent I don't know if you saw in the Value Pack Discord this week where he was arguing that Suck Musa isn't actually good at grinding. Someone saw one video where they got boosted numbers because of drop events and stuff, and everyone just ran with it and believed it, that there's no actual evidence that Suck Musa is super good at grinding. So it's getting nerfed because of an overreaction to some video where someone cheesed numbers. It's actually so fucking hilarious. I'm just like, dude, that is your main. I don't know how you haven't found evidence on your own class. Like, just, my God, dude. Just, I cannot even. It's like, the class was never good. Someone said they got good numbers and everyone just ran with it. It's like, yeah, okay.
No, I usually don't interact with him when he's going on his inane rants. But I do read everything that goes on. So, I am aware. Mohawk Cacho says, I'm glad the costume for AOS is trash.
Dude,
yeah.
I think I need to see what the female one looks like, but it might be, if it's full armor on a female, I'll fucking take it.
Minaria says, next time the cat needs Frosty's attention during the podcast, you better get up and give her that attention. She deserves it. For the costume lore thing, I'm personally thinking that they are doing this to take stress off their art team. One costume per week is a lot of work, and this change will make it a lot easier to come up with outfit ideas that aren't just straight ripoffs from other games or media. The lore thing is just an additional justification/way to appease a few players for possible longer waiting times. Congrats on the engagement, Frosty.
Thank you, Mina. Thank you.
Pirate Poro says, I wonder how much Rezlar lose his mind if he heard Steve's VOD of Armin and Tennis arguing about gear progression. I don't know. What did they say? Do you know what this is referencing, Frosty?
I know what he's referencing, but I haven't heard the gear progression part of the argument. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I heard different parts of the argument. Maybe he was...
if they're saying that the only way you should be able to progress your gear is through running in circles, then yeah, I'd be very upset.
No, I don't know if that was it. I thought he was making the argument that you should be able to use full gear in Solare, but maybe I'm
Oh, that also would be fucking awful.
But I don't know.
Why in the world would you do that?
I have no idea. I don't remember. It was something. They had some crazy stuff going on. It was on Steve's birthday, and I think Steve was self-proclaimed very, very high. during it. It was a really funny stream though, because like everything, dude, he said, like Tennis said something like, dude, I'm fucking dying, because Tennis is one of these people that just grinds forever, right? He's like he's like these people that can just fucking head down grind 12 hours a day. So he had like a lot of gear really early on, and then he took a break from the game, I guess, and he was saying something like, dude, I came back to the game and even Shaky Bake could kill me. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah. It's a sad day. It's a sad day.
But I don't know what their discussion was about. I missed some of it.
Tuki says, TLDR, I agree with your take on equalized PvP, and I'm sorry for the wall of text. I'm on the same page as you guys. There needs to be a mode or two that allows for equalized PvP, and it needs to have a queuing system for people who don't have connections to other PvPers. I've been playing since 2017 and have quit and come back many times. At one point, I was in a relatively strong Node War guild with good gear, at the time 269, 331, and the game was a lot of fun. I've been back for a month or two now, and even though I have experience and know how to make silver, I'm quite a few months away from being relevant in PvP. I can't really do RBF with my gear. I'm not in a guild, so it's hard to find fun fight partners, etc. Open world PvP with the Marnie realms is tough to find. If we weren't getting the casual queue for AOS, I honestly don't know how a new player would practice PvP to improve. Would be awesome to have AOS template gear for RBFs. Thoughts on that, Frosty?
I would love that. I always hear people say a trial RBF would be fun. I think trial RBF would be awful. And a lot of people do like limit testing in their gear just to see what they can do and whatever. But I would love an RBF with AOS gear. I think that'd actually be super fun.
I think they need to export AOS gear to RBF. They need to export it to T1 Node Wars. Like, I think it's the better way to do things. Then he says, I've turned away quite a few friends that I've played WoW, League, Lost Ark with, because when I said it'll be hundreds of hours before you can PvP, they didn't want to put in the time. Season gear is an awesome jumping off point, and Jatina pens are great, but even with those, it's 20-ish weeks before you hit full pen weapon and armor. Then you need to grind the money for Vel, some accessories, Caphras, etc. before you're even sniffing 660-ish gear score. And by today's standards, you'll still be dying super quick in the current RBF or non-equalized PvP modes. I'm all for having modes where your hard-earned gear matters, but this population will continue to stagnate or reduce in size if there aren't modes implemented to let new folks actually do the fun part of this game. Node Wars in 2018 to 2019 were a highlight for me, so I'll chase the gear curve and try to catch up. But how do I guess you get a new player to buy into this game if you tell them to buckle up for 6 months or so before they can try the fun stuff?
Well, the problem is, Tuki, at least for me, is I inherently disagree with you that it takes 6 months to do the fun stuff. So here's the thing, is like, if you focus on getting your journals done and you're actually playing this MMO and putting time into it, I think you can participate in Cap, Node War, and Sieges far before 6 months. Far before even your 20-ish weeks, whatever you said, your timeline before to hit full pen weapons and armors. I don't agree with that either. I think all that stuff is way faster than that these days. And you could participate in tier 1 wars, you could participate in cap sieges, and even in RBF, once your journals are done, you have all the journal stats. Unless your class is shit, you literally can just get kills in RBF on a trial character and pop draft and perfume every single round, and you do like pretty good damage. So I don't know, like,
yeah. So,
and then also Solare is there, and we agree with you. Like, Solare is an awesome other place. And when you go into me and my friends and Rez, I know you remember this, like, we weren't getting our practice from open world PvP. We were all just going to BA and asking people in our guild to go with us to BA.
Yeah. I have two main problems with the takes here at the end. Problem number one is the same thing you pointed out. I think that with tier 1 node wars, even though it's not actually equalized, you can be competitive in tier 1 node wars after like a month or two if you're playing very seriously. Maybe even before that, in all honesty, if you have friends that are willing to kind of boost you through your levels, and you can get all the seasonal rewards and stuff like that. So I think you can participate in Node Wars. Granted, it's T1s, which I know people have issues with Tier 1s, but it is the content, and you could do that relatively quickly. Thing number two, everyone's dying super fast. It doesn't matter what your gear is. The game is just different from back when it sounds like you last played Tuki. Everyone dies super quick. Doesn't really matter too much what gear you have unless you're like super high evasion or like a DP meme or whatever. Everyone's just kind of dying insanely quick at the moment, even with a high gear score. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that it's like 660. You stay at 660 gear score. I think you said like you still get blown up. Like I know there are a lot of people that are like 700 gear score that still feel like they just get blown up instantly. So I don't know. I just think that that's the game now. Is it's just blow up or get blown up.
Yep.
Which kind of sucks, but that's where we're at. Paul Bradley says, as far as Warrior goes, the slow is whatever the DP is downright disgusting. We have some of the smallest AoEs in the game. Have to be right in your face for DPS. Our large scale. Don't you laugh at that?
What? What? Okay,
our
go
large scale
on.
capabilities are already lacking, so now they've removed our tank capabilities. It's not like we can't be killed. I don't get it, and I believe you guys are communists for thinking this shit is okay. For you crumb classes that just bounce around the map in super armor or iframe or disappear, I'm sure you're happy.
Yeah, this is a lost soul. Just an absolute lost soul.
Why are we communists? Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
What? So if you're not okay with the warrior changes, are you a capitalist? Interesting. Mian says, "Grats on Frosty. Good luck, Wrestler, on going solo in the podcast, if that's even possible, since the other two are going to be dealing with women. Keck W." I like the implication here being that I will literally never be able to find a woman. I like the implication. Thank you,
You'll be
Mian.
alone
Thank you.
forever.
Cody Shane says, unranked AOS is incredible. As someone new to PvP, I always felt bad pairing up with people that really care about their rank and not being able to contribute well enough, because I definitely understand how one's ranking matters. Now I can learn without so much pressure.
Yeah. You know what's so funny
Absolutely.
is when I'm in unranked and I have like really bad teammates, I'm the most awesome, encouraging person ever. And then the moment I'm in ranked, it all goes out the window.
You become Nyashi. Just toxic as shit.
I actually don't ever say anything negative to people.
I don't either.
I really
I'll
don't.
say it to
I
myself, and I'll say it in Discord, but I'll never. I almost never. I can count on one finger the amount of times that I was so like bewildered by what the player was doing that I was like, bro, what are you doing, my guy? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. I'll make snarky comments if I'm streaming Solare, but I'm not, everyone's thinking stuff, horrible stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure when I die first, everyone's like, dude, fucking this idiot. I had this guy.
Frosty gear carried.
I had this guy literally say, he sounded like he was on Discord or something, and he goes, "Oh my god, I'm on like a 3 loss streak, and now it puts me with Frosty." He literally said that to me, like in voice to me, and then he proceeded to die first all 3 games. Literally, just fucking instantly fucking popped. And I was
no.
I was like, yeah, dude, you're definitely, you're lucky to have me, motherfucker.
Mr. Spectacular 37 says Sage Awakening is so shit in PvE. Sage is crying out for help, crying face, and then even worse crying face, 2 crying faces.
Dude, it actually, I mean, similar to the poor Paul Bradley guy down there who said that he has the smallest AoEs in the game on Warrior. It blows my mind how many Awakened Sages think they're bad at PvE. It's actually crazy.
Yeah. Devoyne Brunson says, Grats Frosty.
Thank you.
Mintus 404 says, Kara Patch said that Hash's NATOs just go in the direction of Hality. The Hash Discord did go pretty much nuts when they saw the translations of KR. Looks pretty much like you can summon them and then just decide their path with using Hality.
Yeah. That is how it works now. Very strong. Although I don't know if it necessarily helps the Gyphon thing, because you don't always have a mob to hit, and it has to hit a target to move. So there's definitely times where at the end of a pack or an end of a tower that you kill, like the tornadoes are there and you can't really move them. But at Trolls, it's nice because there's a bunch of mobs all over the place you can throw them at.
Right. The best says, I really want lore for a guardian wearing actual pants.
Me too, dude. Me too.
Laggy Skill says, "Grats to Frosty and soon to be wifey. It would have been great. It would had been a great feels good moment to end the podcast with the engagement announcement. Till Frosty ruined it by saying he's only going to invite all his friends to the wedding. Yet Rizlar nor Nyashi got an invite. Feels terrible, man. Great podcast as always. Love y'all. Yeah, man. Why didn't we get an invite?
Well, you guys can fly out with Musassin. No, it was the reason I didn't. I was mentioning like online friends that actually live close by, and it wouldn't be a big deal. That was the only thing. Because flying out to someone's wedding sucks. No offense. It's like unless they're like a real like your best friend, flying out to someone's wedding is fucking. Just don't make me do that. You know.
All right, where was I? I got lost. Remy says PA understands teamwork is OP. That's why they don't let you queue RBF with friends or see other people's health bars to know if you need to peel or heal for them.
True. Dude, that's the other thing I've noticed in Solare. A lot of people don't know what their health is. Like, I would say that's probably my number one issue that I have, like where a teammate makes a mistake, where it's like, they're making all the same mistakes I'm making, but then the one thing that they do that always surprises me is when they're at 15% health, they dive into a 1v3.
Yeah. But then I feel like the opposite side of that extreme is the people who have like 80% of their HP, but they hard disengage onto the other side of the fucking map while you're trying to fight, and you're just like, where is my teammate? They're just over there, just hanging out, waiting for cooldowns, I guess. But like, there's no like, at least say something if you're gonna do that, so I can fucking bounce. Jesus Christ. Mentis404 says Arena of Solare has a big problem. Player who aren't used to PvP won't try it because they fear to lose the match, and randoms might get mad over mistakes. It's the same with League of Legends. If you kill with random players, it's not fun for lots of players that like PvP, but just fear I am bad and don't want to get blamed. Well, that's why they got practice mode.
So then practice. But also, dude, again, I say this every time.
Fuck them.
Fuck them, man. It doesn't matter what people say. Like, let them blame you. It doesn't matter. It means nothing. I know it's kind of hard to hear, but sometimes you got to just be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm shit. I mean, the same thing. I always tell the story. My first time ever playing League, or like my first time like ever playing ranked, like I finally got to whatever level 30 and I start playing ranked. It throws me into bronze 4, right? Like the lowest, I think can you go below bronze 4?
Bronze 5, I believe.
Bronze 5.
Or no, they added iron, but I don't remember if that was before or after you played.
Yeah, so I'm literally in like borderline the most shit rank you could be. And these people are like shit talking me and going, dude, you're so fucking shit. And I'm like, yeah, it's my first ladder game ever, and I'm in bronze 4. By the way, you got matched with me. That's sad. You're also as shit as me. Yeah, I did just enough to get here, and you've been playing for 4 years. Yeah, I'm shit, but guess what? You're with me, buddy. You're also shit. I know,
it's the same. It's just video gamers in general, I think, because I have the same thing with Dota. My cousin loves Dota, and he's played Dota for years. And every once in a blue moon, I work up the courage to go try and play Dota with him. But every single time, I play like 2 games, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Because what happens is I get put with these people that have played Dota before, and I've played like 3 games in 3 years, and they get super mad at me. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And my cousin has to be like, yeah, it's like his second game ever. But they don't give a shit. They just keep harassing me, and it's just like, I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, I remember
people get really upset.
My first game of Dota, literally the whole team told me to go play League of Legends. I swear to God, that is a true story. I queued up for Dota my very first match ever, and they were like, dude, go play fucking League. You can't handle this game. I'm like, dude, it's my first game. I was like, what? Like, why would you encourage people to go play your competitor? You want me to play this so your prize pools are bigger. You fucking idiots.
By the way, did you notice the bug abuser is in your chat?
Oh yeah, shit. Etsu,
Uh-huh.
Nayashi wants a word with you, you bug abuser.
Etsu, you better put out a statement, my guy. You better put out a statement real quick. There's some heat coming your way, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where was I? Done with Precision says, I'm with homie. I really don't see a real reason to PvP outside of learning how to hit a person and just learning how to survive it, kinda because everyone in PvP outscales everything so hard and there's really nothing to gain from it outside of seeing how broken gear can make you in PvP. It's fun, but as a fan of PvE, there's nothing there in PvP for me except bragging rights and the ability to brag. Grinding gets me infinitely
What?
more than anything PvP, so I stay away from it personally.
I like that the only things in there are bragging rights and the ability to brag.
Yeah. Those are two separate things, obviously.
Yeah, if you're not into PvP, that's the great thing about an MMO.
Yeah.
Like this, like have something for everybody. Don't PvP. I mean, there's certainly days where I'm like, I'm just gonna kill mobs today.
Yep. GeoSurf says they keep giving buffs in QL to Archer. I love it. Keep it coming. I'm surprised they went full hammer on the Drac nerfs though. Class is probably gonna feel awful to play now. Well, suck at least. Edit. They added a new protected Archer skill on pre-awakening. I'm tagging a Sage to open doors for me because honestly, I don't want to play any other class right now. LOL. Oh, and Frosty. At this point, I think PA likes to hear you vent about Kuno. That's why they don't buff. That's why they don't buffer in super meaningful ways. Lamal.
You think they actually like enjoy it and they're just pointing and laughing?
Could be.
Every time I complain about PvE.
What other explanation is there? You know.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Jinzi Tumba says, "Congrats, Frosty."
Thank you.
Some little. What are the called?
Party favors.
Confetti. Yeah, party favor emojis. Whatever. Sweet says, sorry for the long comment. It's actually 2 weeks comment in one. This actually isn't that long of a comment compared to some of the ones we had earlier, so don't worry about it. I have one question for you, Nyashi. Well, he's not here, so did you return the friendship bracelet back to Shaky? If your answer is no and you didn't get one, ouch, man, that's rough. I can tell you that you were never even a friend, just another business decision. Joking aside, I do think the blade up with baking cake is overall very good changes. It's not just QOL, it also has significant impact on both PvE and PvP. Nyashi just keep getting buffed. Hashtag monitor smash E. Talking about buff, Frosty also Awakened Kuno got some crazy buffs with these new fancy animation changes. You can now, for a moment, forget how damaging playing Awakening Kuno is doing to you, both physically and mentally. GG, it's fixed. If PA can be like LOL, stop making new classes at least for a while, just constantly revamping all the classes and not making major changes every time, but just a small change. Just one PvE/PvP patch every month. Ensure every class gets an equal amount of love. Honestly, we don't need more classes. PA just needs to heighten the individuality of each class and make sure at least the majority of classes feel good to play. They really listen to the idea of making a third spec True Awakening, and that's like having 21 new classes, delete Shy, and give them a character slow coupon. It's only fair. I don't, what is
Well, okay, so we've only gotten like between Corsair and Drac was a year, right? So it's not like they did kind of slow that part down. Also, does League of Legends not make new class? I thought League of Legends like notorious for constantly releasing new classes.
I believe recently they've kind of slowed down actually. So they got kind of insane there for a while, where I think they were putting out like 7 or 8 new champs a year, and finally they realized that that was kind of unsustainable and was making the game really volatile. So for the past couple of years, I think they've slowed it down a lot to like 4 champs a year. So I think that's what maybe they're referring to, just that they slowed down their pace a little bit. Not that they stopped making it, but that they were just like, okay, we need to calm down a little bit on this.
All right, I'm looking at this is the release date on the recent classes. So Vex, September 23rd, 2021. Zeri, January 20th, 2022. Renetta, February 17th, 2022. And Belvith, June 9th, 2022. So only 3 this year. So I guess that's good. Although 2 of these were a month apart. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And now, so if you go back to maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 2018, if you looked at the champs released in 2018, it was probably really high, I would guess. Because I have a vague memory of that being the case, that they were releasing a lot of champs for a couple years there.
There's another one named Nilia that's come out since then. Is that what you're saying, Nari? And apparently 2 more are on the way.
Yeah, I think Nilia is the...
Or Nilia and one after Nilia. So maybe 2
Nilia's
total.
the Corsair ripoff, people were calling her.
Oh, is she? She's like what? Suck or Awakening Corsair?
She has like a whip sword thing, and she's all watery and stuff. She has water animations. You'd probably like her.
Okay.
CISO says, "What?
I'm a Teemo jungler. All right.
Do you not like water animations? Have you changed?"
I don't like water animations in games with low quality graphics.
Oh, damn, just calling them out. Listen, you pay respect to the future king of the MMO genre and the developer of the WoW killer, okay?
I'm sure it's going to be sick when the MMO comes out. Dude, I actually, we'll talk about this after the comments for a second, but I'm more excited about the Riot MMO than, what is it called? Now the name's escaping.
Ashes of Creation?
Ashes, yeah.
I am too, honestly.
And that's just a pipe dream.
And I've bought into Ashes of Creation, and I think Ashes is going to be good, but I have more faith in Riot than I do in the Ashes dev team, just because of their track record. But anyway, CISO says, hate him or love him, Shaky Bay makes a very entertaining comment. He also says, really appreciate your continued podcast. I'm always looking forward to a nice and chill grind session while listening to the podcast. Thanks a lot. Regarding new players and marketing, I don't think new players are really interested in the kind of game that BDO is. The new player experience is pretty bad. Yes, there is Jatina pen accessory quest. Yes, there's free and cheap pen armor / weapons, but truly catching up is not possible anymore. None of my friends is a masochist like me and quit way before arena and equalized content is all good and well, but if you get one skilled by a 700 gear score player, it just feels really bad experience. It does not lead to wanting more, especially when you realize how much work gearing up really is. Anyway, just wanted to vent, and I would wish nothing more than many new players in a lively BDO world, but I can totally see why no one sticks to BDO.
I don't understand comments like this. So I can't argue with the new players aren't interested in the kind of game BDO is. That might be true. But it's not possible to catch up anymore is so weird because it's like easier than ever. Like there was a time where it literally was impossible to catch up because of how far behind it was, but now it's like I see people all the time that are like, hey, just started playing a few months ago, and they send me like their gear screenshot, and it's nuts. Or if you're like super obsessed, that guy, oh my god, his name's just gonna escape me. Vicious went like nuts, right? He went full no life, like try super hard grind. He came back, what, 8 months ago or 9 months ago, something like that. He literally has my gear except for the distos. That's the only thing he's missing is the distos. So yeah, but that's like no lifing. Like you can play casual and still like get to a place where you can still compete. You don't need my exact gear score to kill people that are my gear. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
People they have this conception that like, well, unless I'm 710 gear score, I can't kill anybody. And it's like, it's not true.
I hate to break it to everyone, but I pretty consistently get top 5 frags in my Node Wars.
Again, an outlier is not a good way to prove a point. Yeah, ignoring the rest of the context of my point, though, is also not a good way to disprove my point. I'm giving you an outlier as like an extreme example, but that it is possible to catch up quickly if you want to. But separately from that, you don't need to catch up to do well. Like you really, really don't. You just need to get to 305 AP, and now you can kill 95% of the player base.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that crazy to get to 305 AP. The whole gear score thing is like everyone's like, dude, the people that are C20 armors versus the people that are C9, like, yeah, it lets you survive maybe a little bit of the chip, but you're still fucking dying. It's not like these people aren't fucking like. I don't know. It's just weird. You can kill most people with relatively low gear nowadays.
I think the important thing, and I've stressed this for years. It's part of why I've always been a gearlet. You're honest to God, at least in Node Wars, and I think this is also true for 1 versus 1 as well. But it is a little bit more complicated in 1 versus 1. How you play is going to have way more of an impact than your gear at a certain point. Like once you get the ability to just step in the arena, which is honestly pretty easy. I would say like 620 gear score. you can step into the arena. It's how you play has way more of an impact. If you're 720 gear score and you play like a fucking retard, you're not going to get anything done. If you're 620 gear score and you know how to position properly, you know your job in a node where you know exactly what you're supposed to do, then you're going to be able to outperform that 720 gear scored person literally 10 out of 10 times. I mean, it just is.
Unfortunately, while Resler was trying to make a good point, I have to disavow everything he said back there. So strike it from the record.
Listen, I'm just saying your ability to play. What are you unwrapping a Snickers? What's going on here?
We're trying a new recycling method, and I'm smashing a water bottle. Also, I got stressed out with your sentence. You know, you're trying to dox me or TOS me to death.
Is that a TOS word? That's not a TOS. People say that all the time.
No, but it depends, I guess, how you use it. If you're using it maliciously against someone.
Oh, well, I'm absolutely using it maliciously. So, anyway, yeah, I just think, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're still a bad person regardless of TOS.
I'm 600. Yeah, I also don't care. I'm 650 gear score. I get top 5 almost every single war that I do. And it's not like we're fighting no-name guilds. Like, we just fought APOC the other day, so it's not like we're fighting no-name guilds. Now, would I have an easier time? Like 650.
Yeah.
And now would
kills?
I have an easier time getting kills and surviving if I was 720? Yeah, absolutely. But I know how to play my class in a node war. I know how to position myself, so I'm able to perform at least decently against people that way fucking outgear me.
Dude, Oris plays DK. He plays Awakened DK and backup shot calls for us, and he literally is like top 10 every single game. And he's 650 or 660 or 659 or something like that. So yeah, it just you don't need to be exactly the same gear score as the higher people to get it. No, it's not just DK. I'm just saying, like, there's a bunch of classes you could do just fine on. A, you don't need to catch up. B, you can catch up quickly if you want to go hard. And C, like, there's a bunch of other game modes that kind of progress you along the way. It's not like, oh, well, I've been playing for 2 weeks and now I'm against APOC. What do I do? This sucks for new players. It's like, well, we don't ever fight guilds like that. It's so rare we're against a guild that has anyone that's in fucking seasonal gear. It's like never happens. Yeah. So you just don't have to deal with that. And yeah, the game is a long-term gear progression game. So if that's not your style of game, then maybe you won't like the game. They'd have to completely change their philosophy for it to be a different type of game.
And Longhorn Finch says Node War is a game of numbers, though. So I do think it becomes a little bit more difficult when you come down to 1v1s. Gear, I feel like, personally, is definitely more of a necessary thing for 1v1s, depending on the class you have. If you're someone like McCann's on a warrior, right? Like, obviously he doesn't need gear, but one, he's a warrior who, like, let's be honest, doesn't really need a ton of gear to murk most people. And also he's hands. He's an outlier, right? I think that gear becomes way more of a necessary requirement for 1v1s, honestly, especially depending on the class that you're playing, because some classes just don't have the ability to pull off, like, ridiculously extended combos that might be necessary to get kills with low gear. So, anyway, yeah, that's that, I guess. Was that the last comment? I think it was.
Dude, Bear, I don't know what Bear's gear is now, but Bear was literally an APOC with like 620 and 630 and fragging out. Maybe that says more about Sork. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that says more about Sork. Probably nerf that class into the ground.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million examples of people with low gear score that pop off. It just, the point is, you don't need to have 700 gear score to do well. And there's also a bunch of different game modes where you don't need to be 700 gear score or need to be high gear. And there's capped wars.
Yeah, I mean, you have
T1s,
like, right? I mean, T1, especially T1 ECs, the bar is really low. Now, obviously, like I said earlier, it's not truly equalized. If someone is 700 gear score on an easy T1, then they're going to have an advantage over you, unfortunately, because of the dumb fuck way they have done the caps. But I mean, it is still, you have way more of a fighting chance. You know, you could start that shit. What's T1 easy? Isn't T1 easy like 210, 250 or some crazy shit like that? Like, it's really low.
Let me see. Let me find one on the map. T1 T1 beginner, you need
Yeah.
AP limit is 238, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
238. DR limit is 181. Like, yeah, this would be like no gear.
Yeah. That's like I don't think you
238,
even
that's including your hidden. So that's like, what do you got to
Yeah.
be like 480
Like,
gear score or something.
you get like try Tuvala and you could participate in like T1 easies. Like
Yeah, the game could definitely improve, like getting beginners into the game for sure. They always could improve that, but they definitely like, man, the game used to be way worse. Like, it's so much better now, and they have made a lot of progress towards improving it and making it so people can catch up quickly. And hopefully they keep doing it, and I assume they will. They probably will keep doing it because they realize that you need new players if you want the game to thrive or go on.
Yeah. All right. Well, did you have more you wanted to talk about the Riot MMO, or was that just it? You have more faith in it?
No,
than
just
Ashes?
I think I still think Ashes looks kind of jank to me. I don't know why. I want to like it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, as someone who's bought into Ashes, and I think Ashes is going to be good, I also am like, it still looks a little jank to me. I think that's the perfect word to describe it, honestly. I don't know what it is, but when I'm watching gameplay of it, I'm just like, this just isn't quite what I was hoping they would develop it to be. It's just not quite there. I don't know what it is.
And they've changed engines 3 times. Right? Or twice? Didn't they change?
Twice, I think.
Ashes will be better than BDO, PA just garbage. I mean, I would love that to be true, because then that means it's going to be an awesome game. But, like, how many MMOs have come out since BDO's released? And Ashes is the golden ticket? That's the one? That's the independent one that's just like, okay, here we go?
I do think Ashes is going to be good, but is it going to be good enough to warrant... For me, like, let's just say for me, take me for example. I've bought into Ashes. I think Ashes is going to be a good game. From what I've seen right now, do I think that Ashes is going to be a game that I quit BDO for? I honestly don't think so. I'll probably play Ashes for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then I'll probably go back to BDO, honestly.
The odds are you won't quit BDO for it, because by then you won't be playing BDO anymore. Because it'll be like...
Because I'll be dead.
it'll be 2 or 3 years from now, dude. I don't know. Who knows when it's coming? And I want to be excited. The combat system is like slightly improved over time. I know they like recently revamped it, and I watched it, and it's still a hybrid tab target / action, and it looks okay. Not great. It looks okay. I don't know. I want to be excited, but we'll see. I want to see. We'll see, but who knows?
Also, people keep bringing up Throne and Liberty. That one too. I mean, the trailers look cool. I would like to see more just raw gameplay instead of like trailers and like cinematics, and I don't know. I would like to just see more actual like raw gameplay footage before I really like have an opinion about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Throne and Liberty, I have zero faith in that game. That would be like a pleasant surprise. Ashes and Riot's MMO, I'm expecting to be like big releases, so my expectations are a little bit higher. Like Throne and Liberty would just be like kind of a pleasant surprise. Like, oh shit, this game ended up actually being good. But we'll see. Who knows? I don't know. Have
you been enjoying the latest, hottest MMO release though?
Tower of Fantasy?
Yeah, Tower of Fantasy, dude. Discount Chinese ripoff Genshin Impact.
I have not I just knew right away that I wasn't really going to be into it. It's just not my style game. I don't even know how to explain that, but yeah.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, yeah, no thanks. I played Genshin, and Genshin was alright for a while. And this just looks like Genshin, and turns out it is just like Genshin. I downloaded it because literally my entire guild is playing it. And yeah, I mean, it's just Genshin. It's just Genshin Impact. If you like Genshin, you'll probably like Tower Fantasy. That being said, it's not a game, and it's not a developer that I would recommend you support. They have copied pretty much everything having to do with that game from various sources. They've copied models, animations, even trailers. They straight up ripped one trailer from a independent studio. Actually, it's pretty funny. Like literally
Really?
beat for beat.
I haven't
Yeah,
even heard.
yeah.
So there's like a drama within. Dude, I love this. Wait, someone's saying also the music apparently is stolen.
I would not doubt it. Literally, it's just a Chinese ripoff. They plagiarized almost every aspect of their game. In all honesty,
A lot of people are pointing
Um,
out that Genshin's also Chinese.
I don't know. Is
Well,
it?
no, well, 'cause I guess. But
I guess.
if it is,
I don't know.
yeah, it's not. It can't be like a. I mean, it also is Chinese. You know what I mean? So it's like a weird, like to say Chinese ripoff is of the Chinese game.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know.
Can you not have a Chinese ripoff of a Chinese game?
I think it
Why?
would just be a ripoff. I just don't. You think you'd have to even say Chinese?
Anyway, yeah, apparently it's plagiarized like a lot of aspects of its game from a bunch of other media. So I wouldn't recommend supporting it in all honesty. That being said, I'm sure it's going to make a shitload of money because whales are going to whales and it's a dog shit gotcha game. So, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, people are enjoying the game, so it's whatever. It's just not my style game. I also didn't like Genshin. I do actually weirdly like. I like the art style. Like, I would love to play. Like, I really wanted to play Blue Protocol, but then that game just. I don't know what happened. Is that game even still in development anymore? That thing fell off the map
Don't know.
like a long time ago. That or Project Barbecue also looked cool, and I haven't heard anything about that.
I'm convinced any of these fucking anime games are just DOA. Honestly, I just have no faith.
Yeah. And the reason why, even though we know nothing about, Bear always mentions this, but for whatever reason, Riot's track record is kind of insane for making good games right now. They're like on a
It
roll
is.
and just
Yeah.
good content. I mean, you have Arcane, you have League, you have TFT. Like their biggest flop, if you even want to call it that, is Legends of Runeterra, but a lot of people like that game too. So it's like, yeah, Valorant is huge. Their fighting game looks fun. Like they almost could do no wrong. I don't know. Like at this point, so we'll see. Like odds are it might be good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Riot has, at least as far as I'm aware, I mean, maybe somebody can pull up some statistics, but they have yet to have a flop. Even their what's it called? Legend of the Ruined King, I think it's called, which was a game not actually made by Riot, but it was just licensed by Riot using their Riot Forge division or whatever, where they basically pay smaller dev team to make the game for them. That was pretty successful from my understanding. So yeah, I have faith, and it's got Ghostcrawler behind it, who is a veteran in the MMO industry. I'm really excited for it. I'm really hype. Very hype.
It'll probably end up being good. Or it'll suck. But also their world, I was watching that Asmongold put up a video recently of someone, it was like him, you know, one of his react videos of him reacting to this person that was breaking down like all the League of Legends map and the potential lore and all this stuff, and it was actually really interesting. Like that world is so in depth already.
It is. The lore, so he's probably reacting to Necrit's video. Necrit has been making lore videos about League for a really long time now, and he just recently did a video, maybe a couple weeks ago. It was titled something along the lines of the world of Riot's MMO is already finished, and he basically went through explaining like where we would likely be starting off and where like future expansions would come in, the things that we would do, the types of monsters we would fight, the characters we would meet. It was a really fun video, and it really, I think, drew a lot of hype for the MMO community to kind of see like, oh, so this is kind of how we can envision it before anything is actually like released from Riot themselves, because obviously they're still very, very early in the process, and we're probably not going to see it for 10 years, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sounds right. 10 years sounds right. All right.
Yep.
Well, that's 3 hours, 13 minutes. We did it, Rez.
We
done.
did it.
Let's bounce.
Yeah, thanks everybody so much for listening or watching. You can catch these live. Frosty streams them every single weekend. If you want to figure out when they're going on, join the Value Pack Discord. Frosty always announces whenever he's going live in there, including when we're recording the podcast. You can also get updates if the podcast is ever delayed or if we're skipping a week like we did last week. We always announce it in there. Make sure to check out our Twitch channels, twitch.tv/SoFrosty, twitch.tv/Nashi_NA, and twitch.tv/NotReslar. All of those links can be found in the description. Leave a comment, letting us know your thoughts. We read them every single week. Thank you to the patrons, and we will see y'all next week.